All right, let's get this going, shall we? Here we go. Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Ange Kirchhoff, and welcome to my YouTube channel. The music, man, it's so good every time. Hope you guys are doing well on this Thursday night. As of this current moment in time, I was just watching the Dodgers game, and I'm trying to keep tabs on it. But obviously, I am sitting in front of you today while the game continues to go because I have enough faith that in the bottom of the ninth, the team is going to pull it out. And hopefully that is going to be the case. Nonetheless, thank you guys for coming along and being here today. We're just going to do a quick Q&A, answering start and sit questions. If you've got trade questions, stuff like that, all of the above for those of you who are interested. Before we begin, another reminder, Underdog Fantasy, for those of you who haven't checked it out, just another way to play fantasy football. If you go down to the link in the description and use promo code Andrew, you can go ahead and with a first deposit of $10 or more, get an additional $10 in bonus cash for those of you who are interested in starting up and playing their contests, whether it's their weeklies, their best balls, whether it is NFL or other sports, pick'ems, all that kind of stuff. Thank you very much. All right, so let's see here. There was a couple people that sent in questions early on while the stream had just been announced. I did talk about me streaming tonight in my Thursday video earlier today via quarterback and tight end rankings. Hopefully you guys know that tight ends and quarterbacks are on the same video from now on, just for the ease of me just uploading and all that kind of stuff. Any outs? What are we doing here? Okay. There's a person on first? Oh no. There's one out? Okay. We're going to see how this goes. Regardless, a couple people had sent in questions, or not sent in questions. Some people asked questions early on. Just wanted to go ahead and first and foremost answer those. So Diego Molina had said early on, chat, should I trade DJ Moore for Diggs? And my wide receivers are DJ Moore, CeeDee Lamb, Laviska, Pittman, Ayuk, and Judy. PPR format, I am 3-2. My opinion in this matter is, I think it's going to be pretty similar to other people's thought process. It's mainly just a matter of which offense and or receiver do you trust the most. Like, I do think that the Buffalo Bills are probably the better offense as a whole, but as we've seen from the first month plus of football, Stephon Diggs isn't getting those red zone looks, isn't getting all of the work. We've seen so much of Emmanuel Sanders kind of present himself, Dawson Knox, Zach Moss in the first couple weeks, that it does kind of make me think they're probably pretty similar in terms of like rest of season rankings. If I had to rank them within the first 5 weeks, yes, we've gone a pretty good way, and DJ Moore is definitely leading because of the touchdown department. I'd probably just barely have DJ Moore ahead of Stephon Diggs, just like a couple ranks. So for now, I'd say you keep your guys. All right, let's see here. Mr. Punch says, Andrew, I swear I smashed this trade. I made it the other day. But now I'm not sure. Okay, let's see what you had. I traded A.J. Brown, Antonio Brown, Madison for Lamb, Ridley, and Kirk. I'm assuming that's Christian Kirk, not Kirk Cousins. To be honest, the wide receivers, heads up, A.J. Brown and A.B. for Lamb and Ridley, I'm okay with that rest of the season. I don't have a problem with that. I know, Antonio Brown played incredible tonight, but, Antonio Brown's been this good for a while now. So are you worried about it? There could be some potential concerns regarding it, but it's only a matter of whether or not Lamb or Ridley, don't show up. Because if they come out and they produce as much as we anticipate them to produce, you'll be perfectly fine. And Madison is pretty much just a handcuff. All right, one out, 2-2, one on first base. Okay, keeping an eye on that. All right, I'm gonna jump to the very updated chat because I know there was a bunch of messages up there. Regardless, coming down. Okay, a couple people sent in donations. I'm going to, read those out, answer them, and then we'll get to the chat, shall we? Okay. Aaron Roscoe says, do I trade Jonathan? Oh, okay, here we go. This is a big trade here. Jonathan Taylor, Scary Terry for Antonio Gibson, Keenan Allen, and Melvin Gordon in a full PPR. Carter, bye week, and Latavius. Oh, sorry. Full PPR, Kamara, Michael Carter on bye week, and Latavius. To be honest, if you're making trades out of the fear of a bye week, you're doing it wrong. I personally believe that rest of season, Terry McLaurin is better than Keenan Allen and Jonathan Taylor is better than Antonio Gibson. So you'd be just giving away the better players just to save you from 1 week. I think there are other guys and or other trades that could be made, other guys on the waivers or other trades that could be made that could suffice in this given week. But for now, I would definitely advise not to do that. Andrew Pacina says, drop Randall Moore for Sterling Shepard full PPR. Is Sterling Shepard going to play? If he is going to, I'm okay with it, but let's just, I would say, with how good Kadarius Toney's looked, he is going to impact Sterling Shepard's overall, contribution. So, in my opinion, yes, you could probably grab Sterling Shepard, but if he's going to be on your bench anyway, I think Rondale Moore's probably the better overall guy to have on roster because there's a potential of just a higher upside, in my opinion. It could go either way, especially in a full PPR. But for now, I'm just worried about Toney pretty much having taken the Sterling Shepard job. Let's see here. We're still good here. Fudgy123451 says flex spot Waddle, Toney, or Shenault, full PPR 12-team league. At this point, I'm leaning towards Kadarius Toney. Thank you very much, Fudgy. In comparison to Waddle, I know Tua will be back and it'll definitely help him, but ultimately, he hasn't played very well in the last couple weeks. Shenault has been a non-factor, especially last week. Hopefully it'll fix itself, but Tavon Austin's getting himself more and more utilized in that offense, slowly but surely. Of course, we're seeing more Dan Arnold there. Those guys are they're eating targets. Dan Arnold and Tavon Austin, they ate up 13 targets. That is a huge difference maker, and they're going to be guys that are probably going to contribute going forward. But either way, Toney's the guy in that spot. Phil E says Adam Thielen or Pittman going forward. Going forward, I think I'm still going Adam Thielen because I trust them more. T.Y. Hilton will come back. That will impact potentially what the upside of Pittman looks like. So for now, I'm going to stick with Adam Thielen because I trust them more. Final, Dodgers won. Thank you very much, Forsaken, for letting me know. Either way, I just saw that. Appreciate that. We're good to go. We're on to the next round. I know somebody in this chat earlier was saying, Andrew, don't worry about it. Boston's winning anyway. I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just glad that we won, and all that money we spent this year is going to to something good. And of course, the Giants are always a rival of ours, so it's good. Same division, all that kind of jazz. Buck Nasty says trade Brandon Cooks for Emmanuel Sanders. If you trust that offense more, sure. But if and when Tyrod Taylor comes back, Brandon Cooks is not a bad option. He's the number one of his respective team. And yes, he hasn't played well against the Bills and the Patriots, but those are good secondaries and good teams that like to shut down the number one wide receiver. Outside of that, the rest of the season, he was great. So I don't mind just keeping Cooks where he is because he's getting more volume of targets, more yards. The touchdowns will eventually accompany the performance. While Sanders, yes, he's benefiting from touchdowns now. They may not always be there every week. Mr. Punch says, what do you think? What do you think of this? Trade Kyler and one of DK, Lamb, Ridley for Teddy Bridgewater, Aaron Jones, one of DJ Moore, Hendo in a super flex. We want to trade Kyler away for Teddy Bridgewater in a super flex. Let's say, for example, of those three wide receivers, let's say we give away Lamb. So we go Kyler and Lamb, and we're taking Bridgewater, Aaron Jones, and DJ Moore. Dude, in a super flex, typically you want to have that stud quarterback. But if you are in desperate need of more depth at running back and wide receiver, I'm okay with it. Because as long as your other quarterback in that super flex, as long as it's not like Mac Jones or Jared Goff, and they're at least a good enough solid quarterback that's not going to kill you in a given week, I'm okay with that trade because the value in which you're recouping with Aaron Jones and DJ Moore in comparison to what you currently have may be greater than the differential between Kyler and the next best quarterback like Teddy Bridgewater. Fudgy says, just thank you, legend from Oz. Thank you very much. Australia, huh? It's great to hear. All right. A couple more questions came in via donation. I'll answer them, and I'm coming right into the chat for a little bit. Okay, full PPR, RB1, James Robinson, RB2, Mike Davis. Okay, which trade do you prefer, Andrew? Trade Devontae Adams and Mike Davis for Swift, Ridley, or receive Jefferson, Henderson, and Edmonds. Wait, really? If you can trade away, no joke, Kevin effect. If you can trade away Devontae Adams and Mike Davis and get Jefferson, Henderson, and Edmonds, I would immediately do that right now. Right now, immediately, no questions asked. Thank you very much. I think that's a great trade for you. Johnny5659 says, hey, Andrew, appreciate the stream. No problem. Glad to be here. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you very much. I got offered Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler, and Christian McCaffrey for Austin Eckler in the Bills defense. Should I accept? Go Braves. Okay, so here's my concern. Christian McCaffrey's probably not going to play this week, which is not good. And it's beginning to give me flashbacks of last year, guys. And it's starting to really make my body hurt. So with that said, let's just hold on to Austin Eckler for now, unless you have Hubbard. If you have Hubbard, we can think about it, but Austin Eckler looks like Christian McCaffrey of the past. So let's just keep Austin Eckler for now until we see what the heck's going on. And if you don't have Hubbard, it's probably not a great option for you if McCaffrey's going to miss more time than we anticipated. Peter sends in a question, says Claypool or Tony this week? It's Claypool. It's not even a question in my eyes. The Seattle matchup's great. And without Juju Smith in that lineup, without the utilization of the tight end position there in Pittsburgh, we should see a lot of opportunity go in the direction of a Claypool. Okay, Jay Meyer says, hey, bro, love the work that you do. Thank you very much. What kicker and defense? Like for this week, which kicker and defense? Like, are you streaming? Is that what you're asking? Because, like, obviously you just said what kicker and defense. Okay, I'm just going to give you a couple options here that I have via my rankings. Let's see what we got here. In terms of streaming defenses, Green Bay Packers against Chicago. I like that. What else do I like? If the Carolina Panthers are available, I don't mind that. I don't mind the Bengals. And I don't mind the Colts. Those are some streaming defenses, but of course I prefer Green Bay first and foremost. If Dallas is available in your league, obviously they shouldn't be. You should take them, but just throwing it out there. As for streaming kickers, if Mason Crosby's available, I'm taking the kickers and special teams of Green Bay for some reason, but he's scoring a lot of points. Another kicker that scored a lot of points, Chase McLaughlin. I talked about him in my waiver wire episode. Another good option there. And or Nick Folk. These are guys that in the last 3 weeks have been great in terms of overall production from the kicker position. So just throwing it out there. Thank you. Hopefully that answers your question. Jo says Emmanuel Sanders, Gaskin, Darrell Williams, Jacoby Myers, PPR. I'm thinking that the best possible choice here is most likely in a full PPR. I don't know if Gaskin's going to get that work. I really don't. I don't even know if he's going to get work on the ground. Because he hasn't this season, and there's still Malcolm Brown, there's still Ahmed there. So for now, I'd say Myers. Corey Olson says trade Antonio Brown for Carson. I'm stacked the wide receiver. To be honest, I think you can get more, Corey. Chris Carson is probably not enough, in my opinion. AB and Connor for Carson. Excuse me, you were trying to give up AB and James Conner for Chris Carson? No. You can get way more than that, 100%. Mr. Punch sends in another question, says, my other quarterback is Jameis/Tua. Starting lineup is Kyler, DK, Lamb, Najee, Damian Harris, Hawkinson, Ridley, Mike Davis, Beasley, Jameis, Tua. I also have Dylan for Jones. Cool. So you'd have to start Bridgewater and Jameis and or Tua. Again, I don't mind it because you play Aaron Jones instead of Damian Harris, and you're playing Ridley in your wide receiver 2 and DJ Moore in that flex spot. I don't mind it. There's a lot of flex spots on this team because you play Mike Davis and Beasley. I don't mind it because, again, I don't think your quarterback options are that thing. And okay, so here's my question. If you're playing a 6-point per passing touchdown league, I'd probably mind it, but considering you didn't mention it, I'm assuming it's a 4-point, and therefore I'm okay. All right, here we go. Coming into the chat, I'm not going to look at the donations for a little while here, okay? So if you send one in, just expect it to be on hold. Here we go. A couple questions here. A lot of them have to do with Antonio Brown, Khalil Herbert, Pittsburgh. Okay, yep. Christian McCaffrey. Cool. So we're going to answer those right now. Here we go. Ben Espinoza says Sutton or Tony. In my opinion, it's probably just play Sutton in a standard or a half PPR. If we are talking about no Shepard, no Golladay, no Slayton, then you're probably in a full PPR safer to play Tony because of the reception work leading to like an easy 10 points. But honestly, Sutton's probably the better upside play overall. Someone send me a trade. This is from Aldo. I give up Mike Williams and receive Dalvin Cook and A.J. Brown. Do I accept it? Yes, you accept it immediately, Aldo. And you say thank you very much, especially in a non-PPR. Dalvin Cook and A.J. Brown for Mike Williams. Thank you very much. Give me the Dalvin Cook. Jason Ortiz says, I grabbed Khalil Herbert when everyone in my league was grabbing Williams. Hopefully he's a beast out this week. Yeah, I mean, look, he had 18 carries for 75 yards last week. Yeah, it was in a good matchup, but it was mainly just to kill clock. In my opinion, he probably could end up being a top 24 running back. That's where I currently have him stacked up right now. I pretty much have filled him into where I had Damian Williams, just a little bit lower. I have him at running back 23 this week. So Khalil Herbert, if you guys have him available in your league, you're in need of a running back. Damian Williams is on the protocol list, and he's probably not going to play this week. So Khalil Herbert against Green Bay could be a good option. We saw Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon both score touchdowns against them on the ground through the air, get a lot of productivity against that Green Bay defense. Could be very possible for the Bears this week. Miles Diaz says Tony or Moss in the flex. In a PPR, I'm more inclined to lean with that wide receiver there. But in this specific case, because I know Moss is going to catch the ball as much as he is, and probably has touchdown upside in the matchup against Tennessee, I'm going to go with Moss. Thank you. I have Christian McCaffrey. I'm 1-4. What should I do? To be honest, ticker time, you are among many people. Titter time. You are among many people from the last 2 seasons, 2020 and 2021, that have been dealing with the same issue. If you had Christian McCaffrey last year, you had the same record. If you had him this year, you had the same record. And it's unfortunate, but that's just how the number one pick has kind of gone. Maybe next year we got to have to think about it and maybe go for Derrick Henry. But, once he finishes with 500 touches this year, because that's what they have him on pace to do, probably unlikely. But once he finishes with 500 touches, I don't know if anybody's going to want to touch him next year. Nonetheless, what do you do with Christian McCaffrey? You have to hold. I mean, yes, you're 1-4, but we still have week 5, week 14 is the beginning of the playoffs. We have 9 weeks. You can still make a move. You just got to win 8 games total. Yeah, you got to win a lot of them, but other than that, you'd have to look for someone to try to give you a top-tier running back. I would want Dalvin. I want Zeke. I want Eckler. I want those guys back in return for Christian McCaffrey. K. Jackson said, I just picked up Folk recently, dropped Carlson. Yeah, Carlson's been, 2-3 points in the last 2 weeks? Just been underwhelming. What happened to it is weird. He was great, double-digit points every single week. I think he'll get back to that, but for now, yeah, Folk's a great option. Thomas sends in a question, says, Antonio Brown, the real deal, anyone? Or should I try it? Antonio Brown, the real deal. Anyone I should try and target if I want to sell high? To be honest, it's just a matter of who in your league wants to buy him. If you want to go out there and try to go get a Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, coming off of underwhelming weeks, by all means, go for it. Otherwise, man, Antonio Brown every single week is starting to slowly turn into the Antonio Brown of old. We saw it in week 1. Week 2 had a little bit of an underwhelming performance. Obviously, week 3 wasn't playing. Week 4 didn't have a touchdown, but got the yardage and the targets. And this week, or in the last 2 weeks, has been unbelievable. I mean, in the last 5 days, he has been one of the top wide receivers in fantasy, and it's not even close. So, for now, yeah, if you want to go for that upper echelon wide receiver, maybe go try to buy low on a DeAndre Hopkins, Stephon Diggs, you can. Otherwise, you hold and you see what you keep getting out of him, because it seems like, Brady loves to target him. Let's see here. What do we have? Chuba Hubbard or Alex Collins, if both Carson and Christian McCaffrey are out. Between the two of them, if McCaffrey's out, I'm automatically playing Chuba, because I do love his matchup in comparison to Collins playing against Pittsburgh. So I'd go with Hubbard there. Can I drop Trey Sermon? You absolutely can. All right, I'm going to scroll to the bottom here. A couple more donations came through. Christian B said, Baker. Okay, let's see here. Baker and David Montgomery for Allen and Hopkins, or Herbert and Hopkins. Baker Mayfield and David Montgomery for Josh Allen and either or Josh Allen or Justin Herbert and Hopkins. Yeah, if you're getting the side in which you get DeAndre Hopkins, by all means, thank you very much. I'll take that. As of which of those quarterbacks, totally up to you. I would take Josh Allen at this point, and DeAndre Hopkins for David Montgomery and Baker Mayfield. Just seems too good of an option. Jason Ortiz, you sent in a donation. I do appreciate it, but there was no message attached. Let me see if I can find it here in the chat. Jason Ortiz says, I grabbed... Oh, yeah, we already talked about that. All right, is there a question, though? No, there wasn't no question, right? Let me just check just in case. Yeah, there was no question. Okay, glad we covered that. Corey Olson says, full PPR, Kadarius Toney, Devontae Booker, Khalil Herbert, or A.J. Brown. I'm going to play A.J. Brown there. I appreciate it, but yeah, there's no way I keep him out of my lineup. Just to give you context, if I'm playing another player after that, I would play Toney. So if you're on the, you're in that kind of mode where you're like, let me wait and see if A.J. Brown's the real deal, and then we can come back to it. Sure, that's fine, but I would suggest you play A.J. Brown. Nonetheless, Toney would be the second option. DeAndre Warren says PPR Gesicki or Tyler Higbee. They've both been up and down. Yeah, I completely understand. If you go ahead and watch today's video, I've combined both quarterbacks and tight end rankings together. I currently do have Mike Gesicki significantly higher than Tyler Higbee. Tyler Higbee is super touchdown dependent. I think in terms of the receiving work, the receptions as a whole with Brissett, Gesicki's been a completely different monster in the last 3 weeks. With that being said, with Tua there, I think it'll just continue to transition there. Their offensive coordinator or co-offensive coordinator is a tight ends coach. They really like to do target, and I think that'll go pretty well going forward. Thoughts on Elijah Mitchell? Keep him. He's going to be the starter going forward unless Jeff Wilson Jr. has something to say about it. Floridan says, are you trusting Dalvin Cook this week? Straight up. Yeah, I am. Mainly because he practiced fully today. He hasn't practiced fully since before that Arizona Cardinals game. So he really hasn't been at a full capacity. He's either did not participate or limited in every practice in the last 2 weeks. And now that he is a full participant on a Thursday of all days, I have way more confidence in him than I do Christian McCaffrey this week. Christian McCaffrey's most likely going to miss, while Dalvin will play. Even if he is a little bit limited and we see a little bit more Madison than we're used to, he's still going to be a great overall play. I mean, the guy's a top 5 running back, and the matchup this week against Carolina, though a lot of people fear it, I have no problem starting up Dalvin Cook. So yes, I do trust him. John Doe says, Mike Evans, sad face. Dude, I was going to say, what happened? Like, why do these guys just disappear? But that's fantasy football, right? Some weeks we know what they're thinking. Some weeks we don't. And as much as we like Mike Evans, as much as I talked about 4 consecutive weeks of either scoring a touchdown or over 75 receiving yards, it all just went to garbage. It's unfortunate, but yeah, it's just the reality of fantasy football for you. Keith Jasmine says, Devontae, as in Booker, Najee Harris for Christian McCaffrey and Hopkins? Oh, that's Devontae Adams. My apologies. That's what you meant. Can you tell when you guys send in questions, make sure you have the full name, because there's a lot of Devontaes. There's Parker, Booker, Adams, and there might be other guys I don't even know of. But yeah, just don't abbreviate it like that. Just have the full name. But either way, I figured it out. Devontae Adams and Najee Harris for Christian McCaffrey and DeAndre Hopkins. If you have Hubbard, I'm okay with it. If you don't, probably just hold right now until otherwise noted. Because even though you're trying to buy Christian McCaffrey low, I'm sure the owner understands, or whoever has him rostered in your league, they understand what the value of Christian McCaffrey is. They just want to get value so they can win now. And if you're willing to take him and then maybe lose a couple games, okay, but you can never afford to lose any games right now. So I just kind of hold what you have. Antonio says, Vikings or Cardinals defense? Christian McCaffrey's out, and Hunt and Chubb are questionable. I think Hunt and Chubb are both going to play. I think the likelihood is that Christian McCaffrey's out. The reason why I'm leaning towards playing the Vikings, though, in this matchup is mainly because Darnold, he's thrown 5 interceptions in the last 2 weeks. If he's going to keep doing that, some Viking's going to get a pick 6. It's possible. They're going to get turnovers. They're going to cause them, and that could be a problem and could get you some good fantasy points from the Vikings defense. And they were able to get some good points against Jared Goff. Waller for Brady and Gibby. Wait, so you're giving Waller. Okay, you have Dak. Oh, I have Dak and Schultz. Waller for Brady and Gibby. I'm very confused. So why do you need Brady in this scenario? You don't need to get Brady back, right? Sorry. Okay, you send another question to kind of reiterate and kind of correct the record. Sorry, I meant trading Brady and Gibson for Waller. Brady and Gibson for Waller. I mean, I guess it's okay. I would want, to be honest, if you're making trades like that, I'm okay with it, but Waller's got to show up. Yeah, when you have Dak and you have Schultz, do you need Waller? That's my question. Can't you keep Gibby and use him and have Schultz just continue to play as well as he has? Because Waller, we're expecting him to kind of go back to being Waller, but at this point, I think you could just hold Gibby and just keep riding him out. He's got a lot of upside going forward. Andrew Brucas says, where do you rank Goddard if Ertz gets traded this week? I don't think Ertz is getting traded this week, guys. But if he gets traded, I mean, Goddard's pretty much where he is. Yes, there's a potential for more targets, but this offense is predicated on 2 tight end sets. The number 3 tight end on the roster, whoever it is, I know who it was last year, but I don't think he's still playing in the league right now. It was Richard Rodgers. If Richard Rodgers is there, he'll fill in just fine. But I don't know if they're going to trade him because they run so much 2 tight end sets right now. Carlos Sanchez. What should I do with Carson? I don't know what to trade him for. Okay. A lot of numbers there. Okay. At this point, what are you trading Carson for? Can you trade Carson? He's got a neck injury, didn't practice this week. If someone's willing to buy him off your hands, by all means, give me, let me think who I want for him. I mean, there's no way you can get a Henderson. There's no way you can get a Fournette. It's very unlikely in those scenarios. So you're most likely going to have to go for players like Zach Moss or Chase Edmonds. And at this point, do you really want to go for those players, that next tier of running back? I don't think so. I think I'd rather hold. But if you are in desperate need and you are in a full PPR, I don't mind pivoting to Chase Edmonds. DeAndre Warren, would you play Tony over Jefferson and Claypool? No, never. Justin Jefferson and Claypool stay in my lineup 150%. I understand why you're asking that because, Tony had a great week and he's looking fantastic and he's the real deal. But no, Justin Jefferson and Claypool are studs. Corey sends in a question, says, I need a flex. Half PPR. Would you play Waddle or Jamal Williams? I would most likely play Waddle, mainly because Jamal Williams doesn't catch the ball. He needs a rushing touchdown to get any work. But with that said, Waddle doesn't score touchdowns either. So it's purely just based on can he get enough receptions from Tua. We've seen it earlier this year, but it's not a guarantee. That's the only concern in that factor. I'm still leaning in that direction because, again, the rushing touchdown upside for Detroit versus Cincinnati isn't as likely. Okay, coming to the chat. Let's see here. AS says Chubb, Kupp, Khalil Herbert for Najee, DK, Javonte, and Claypool. Wow. So Chubb and Kupp, I don't really care about Khalil Herbert because he's a he'll eventually be gone because David Montgomery will come back and or Damian Williams will come back. So Khalil Herbert's kind of like fodder in that scenario. So it's Chubb and Kupp for Najee, DK, Javonte Williams, or Claypool. I don't mind that trade at all. I don't mind that. But again, it's a matter of what you need. Like I don't know. Like if you want to trade Kupp and Chubb for Najee and DK, I would say I'd probably rather have Chubb and Kupp rest of season because of Russell Wilson being out. If you're just trying to make that trade so you can get a Claypool or a Javonte to be your flex, I don't know if that's worth it. There's got to be another trade you can make in that scenario because the 2 for 2 there leans in your favor to probably keep Chubb. Let's see here. A couple questions came in. Okay, so there's a lot of long questions here. I'm going to try my very best, guys, okay? Jersey J says Khalil Herbert, Gaskin, Jamal Williams, Patrick Waddle, full PPR, pick 2. Let's see here. 6, pick 2. Okay. I mean, if we're picking out of this group of players, Jamal Williams, no. Gaskin probably gets the play there. It's probably Gaskin and Patrick. That's my current lean. But again, ranking subject to change. We'll see how it kind of continues as the week goes. Speaking of Myles Gaskin, Tiger Nick says, is Myles Gaskin good at all? Yes, he's great. But they haven't given him enough opportunity this year. And I think there's a possibility that he proceeds. If they're not going to give him touches on the ground, if he's not going to have goal line opportunity, then what are we doing? He has to get all the work in the PPR game, which has obviously been a problem this year because it was only just this last week that they heavily targeted him and he found a lot of success. So anyway, I have Myles Gaskin and Christian McCaffrey as my RB slots in an 8-team league. Yeah, in an 8-team league, it's terrible. I don't want to be the negative Nancy, but in an 8-team league, you definitely want somebody better as your RB2 because if you are running Gaskin there, your quarterbacks, your tight ends, your wide receivers, your kicker and defense should be top tier because really you should have an all-star team up and down the board. But yeah, for that circumstance, probably not. Let's see here. Saints EC says, would you do CD and Godwin for Dalvin Cook? My other wide receivers are Allen Robinson, Shenault. My other running backs are Javonte Williams, Chubb, and Dillon. No, I wouldn't. I think you're giving up too much. You're killing your entire wide receiver position because Allen Robinson and Shenault haven't done anything. So, why trust them at this point? So yeah, that's my current thought process regarding that. A couple questions got sent in. I got to address them real quick. Thank you very much for those of you guys who are donating, and thank you very much for those of you guys who are just here sending in questions in the chat. I do appreciate all of your guys' overall contribution and helping grow the channel. Thank you. Derek sends in a question. Says, just wanted to thank you for all that you do. You are very humble and gracious. Thank you. And you have an amazing work ethic and always try to help everyone. All the best to you. That's just perfect timing. I swear it's not scripted, but I appreciate that, Derek. Kind words do help out a lot. Thank you. Dami says, Tony versus the LA Rams, Allen Robinson versus Green Bay, or Laviska Shenault versus Miami. Like I had in my rankings earlier this week at the wide receiver position, I am going with Tony playing against the LA Rams instead of Robinson versus Green Bay or Viska versus Miami. I do prefer Kadarius Toney in that scenario. Thank you. The Chosen One says, should I play Tony over Higgins? Man, everybody's asking Tony questions, man. I know he's good. I know it. But let's see this. Should I play Tony over Higgins based on volume alone? Full PPR. I think it's not a matter of volume alone. I think it's a matter of PPR alone. Because we know, regardless, if T. Higgins doesn't score a touchdown, Tony should get more receptions and get, similar receiving yards. So he does have the stronger baseline of production. The question remains who has the highest upside between the two, which makes me think it's probably Higgins. But in a full PPR, I really don't care for that much of an upside if the upside's only going to shift it by 4 points in one direction. I'm okay with just playing the safe guy and then just hoping that they continue to ball out. I have Mixon as one of my RBs. Hope they go run heavy. I mean, they'll only go run heavy if they mount an early lead. But they're the Cincinnati Bengals, and you never know. It could be a competitive game. Dylan Kim says, how do you feel about CD rest of season? Is he someone you're worried about due to the volume? Who are guys you would trade him for? All right, that's a great question. Am I worried about the volume? Absolutely. Without a doubt in my mind, I'm worried about the volume because 12 targets in the last 3 weeks isn't going to cut it at the wide receiver position. I mean, it really isn't. Let me go and I'm just going to go peep out the wide receiver position as of right now. Let's just go see other names that I'd be willing to trade him for. Okay, considering he hasn't played up to his standard, but he's coming off a good week, I'm not 100% willing to just move him unless I'm getting a guy that I think could be better rest of season. So if you can move him for Diggs, I'm willing to do that. If you're willing to move him for Ridley, I'm willing to do that as well. So in those scenarios, I think those wide receivers have better rest of season potential. Though I do think CeeDee Lamb's been great in some scenarios. Obviously, the lack of production from weeks 2 through 4 hurt. But all in all, I don't mind that kind of an upgrade. But it's a matter if someone is willing to go ahead and make that trade with you. Brad and Hannah says, 2 questions. If Christian McCaffrey's out this week, do I play Chuba Hubbard or Khalil Herbert? I'm going to play Chuba Hubbard in that scenario. Also, would you trade Allen Robinson, Corey Davis, and Emmanuel Sanders for Ridley? If your wide receiver depth is, I guess, stacked enough to where you can afford to trade 3 wide receivers for 1, I wouldn't mind that, honestly. Like if you have other wide receivers besides Ridley in this scenario, pretty much build your team out. You don't have to worry about bye weeks, or at least you'll have to just like pick up somebody on a given week and roll them in there on a bye. I don't mind it because it makes your team stronger. Start AJ Brown or Brandon Cooks, says Audie. Good question. If you are playing in a full PPR scoring format, I probably go with Brandon Cooks there. Even in a half, I'm going Brandon Cooks there. I think the matchup against the Indianapolis Colts is just far too advantageous. Even with Davis Mills, I mean, it's just a matter of the defense. Indianapolis gave up so much this season, the receivers, and Buffalo has just been so stingent. They're so good in that secondary. Even with their corners not playing up to where they did last year, those safeties are just killing people. So yeah, I play Cooks. Emilio Gomez says, trade Tony Pollard for Myles Gaskin. If you are not a Zeke, owner, if you don't manage Zeke on your team, I don't mind that trade, but understand how much inherent risk there is because yes, you're getting Gaskin and he could potentially be the starter for his team if they continue to give him opportunity going forward. But if they don't, if something happens to Zeke, you traded away the lucky golden ticket to the chocolate factory per se. But hey, if you need RB help now, I don't mind it. I think it's not a bad idea. Swift or Henderson, full PPR? That's a great question. I'd go Swift the rest of the season, mainly because his PPR upside is just incredible. I 100% admit, yes, Henderson is going to be a fiend. That's what we anticipated all offseason because, again, starting running backs for the Rams since Todd Gurley have been great under Sean McVay. So, of course, Henderson's a great option, but I think in a full PPR when we're looking for reception work it's Swift. And Swift hasn't been healthy all year long. Imagine once he gets healthy and the groin isn't nagging him. The dude's going to be killing people. So yeah, that's where I go right now. We go Swift. Mark Merchant sent in a question. Says, are you going to do some underdog pick'ems you like this week? As of on today's episode, we could do it in a little bit later on this episode. Again, my pick'ems, some hit, some drastically miss. We can go over it in a little bit. Yeah, but I don't mind that. I'm going to probably include that in the Saturday Hidden Gems episode, as I typically do, as I kind of like go down the entire list, talking about like, which ones I kind of like and don't like. But typically I don't talk about the ones I don't like. I just talk about the ones I like and think are probably, smash plays. But obviously in the last couple weeks, just haven't fared in my favor, unfortunately. But yeah, we could probably either do that later if the questions kind of slow down or on Saturday. Thank you very much, Mark Merchant. I appreciate the support there. Jonathan Jones says, should I trade Julio Jones for I'm sick of him, or should I just keep him? Listen, if it's going to alleviate the stress that you have looking at him being questionable or hurt every single week, and you're worried about playing him and it's just a headache, then just get rid of him. Like, why hold a player that is going to just ruin your fantasy experience? We only get to play fantasy once, throughout the year. And yes, it lasts from August through the end of December into January, but don't let him ruin your experience. If you can get a wide receiver 3 with upside in exchange, yeah, go for it. Maybe you have to wait and hold him and see, hey, maybe he gets a big week and then you can trade him by selling him high. But don't let a singular player like kind of bog you down. I have DeAndre Warren says, I have Montgomery in the IR. I lost Russell Wilson. Now I have Burrow. Is Burrow a weekly starter or is he a streamer? I think it's just a matter of what his schedule looks like. I mean, Burrow 2+ touchdowns every single game this season throughout the passing game. So let me look up the Bengals schedule here. One moment, please. As you can hear me clattering the keyboard. They play the Lions this week. Then they play against the Ravens. Okay, the Ravens could be seen as a tougher matchup, but I mean, Carson Wentz just dotted them up. Then we have the Jets matchup. I think that's favorable. The Browns matchup, that's winnable. Raiders, Steelers, they already beat this year, 24-10. Chargers, that's a tougher one, but that's way down the line. And then you get the 49ers, Broncos, Ravens again. I think in terms of playoff schedule, Burrow's probably not a guy that I want to throw out there against Denver and the Ravens and hope that he has, incredible weeks. But for the rest of the season, regular season, I think he's a great option until Russell Wilson comes back for you and rights the ship. AJR Plays says, PPR, Dak or Stafford? Currently, I do have Stafford ahead of Dak this week. Flex Amari Cooper, Laviska Shenault, Darrell Williams, or Khalil Herbert. Out of the group of players, I'm leaning towards Darrell Williams against the Washington football team. Thank you very much. Okay, coming back into the chat. Antonio Gibson or Ja'Marr Chase in a full PPR? Antonio Gibson or Ja'Marr Chase? I'd probably go Ja'Marr Chase. Even though, I love my running backs. I really do. Ja'Marr Chase is really good. He's so damn good, man. It's crazy. AB for Carson. Who wins? To be honest, at this point, if I'm playing one at the flex for the rest of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if Antonio Brown outscores him rest of the way, because with Chris Carson and the Chris Carson that we know, that we've experienced, he might get hurt again later this season. Whether it be the current neck injury, it might be a hamstring or a quad or a knee later down the line. It's always possible. So right now, I'm kind of leaning AB in that full PPR. Let's see here. Foster B sending the question says, just went up against Fournette and Hurts. Yeah, Hurts had himself kind of a lackluster passing game, but when you're pulling down Jalen Reagor every time he goes for a big play, what are we doing, right? Either way, those yards should count for somebody. Can I start both Higgins and Pittman over Gibson? Wait, I'm sorry. Hold up. Can I start T. Higgins, and Michael Pittman Jr. over Gibson? I have A.J. Brown, Zeke, and Henderson locked in. I would not play T. Higgins over Gibson. You certainly could because it's your team, but I would suggest you want to play Antonio Gibson this week and Pittman. But Gibson, then Pittman, then Higgins in that order. Jay Meyer says, not sure if you answered. Steelers or Panthers defense? Let me check my rankings. Currently, I have the Steelers defense as my number 2 on the week, right behind the Los Angeles Rams. So I'll take the Steelers defense ahead of Carolina this week. Also, Brown kicker or Bills kicker? Bills kicker. I'll take Tyler Bass. I streamed those positions. Lastly, I have Diggs and Williams, okay? Should I flex Tony or A.J. Brown? I'm flexing A.J. Brown. Thank you. All right, let's look at this chat. A couple people sent in questions. Okay. Ray Lars says 1-4. I traded Patterson for Lamb and Davis. Did I win? Yes, you did win. Congratulations, Ray. That's great. Bill Gates says, Andrew, please rank Julio, Jacobs, and Chuba Hubbard. Jacobs, Chuba, Julio. That exact order, regardless of scoring format. I don't even care if it's standard, full PPR. I'm not playing Julio over those two good running backs. Aiden says, I think Khalil Herbert gets to start. Okay, you're talking to somebody else. Sorry, Aiden. Eric B says, would you trade away Lockett and Zach Moss for CeeDee Lamb and Pollard? I have Zeke. Do you really want to have all those Dallas Cowboys on your team? I mean, I guess, look, CeeDee Lamb or Lockett. Until Russell Wilson comes back, it is CeeDee Lamb, in my opinion. That's the better option. If you don't need Zach Moss, you truly don't. You're like, listen, I don't need the extra running back option. I've got a good RB2. I got a good flex option here. I can survive. Then, yeah, I think it's a decent idea to get yourself your insurance policy and upgrade at wide receiver. Mike Hawk, good name. I appreciate those kind words. Thank you. Let's see here. Danny says, don't sell AB. He's the number one wide receiver. That offense, not Evans anymore. Yeah, I mean, look, Danny, you're not wrong. Based on target counts, based on the amount of production we've seen, AB looks like he's that dude. And he looked like it week one. It's just a matter of like, it's so hard to believe that AB at this age is just getting it done. But hey, listen, we believe it. It is what it is. He's going to keep ripping them, apart defenses. Good for him. Good to go. Big Man says, full PPR. Do I trade Deontay Johnson for Joe Mixon? I mean, yes, I would. Yeah, I would. If you need the running back up, for sure, yes. I Drippy says, started Jalen today. Yeah, listen, Jalen. What were those stats again? I got to pull them up. Let's go quarterbacks, week 6. His passing game, listen, it's not pretty, but we're not in the business of Jalen Hurts and passing game. That's not what we care about. I even talked about it in the video today. Last week, he had the same kind of numbers. When you're getting, 15 points from your rushing stats, 2 touchdowns, that's 12, 44 rushing yards. That makes it 16.4 points just from rushing stats. I mean, there was quarterbacks last week that couldn't even get to that number. And, they were trying their darnest to do so. And on top of it, Jalen Hurts hasn't had less than 20 fantasy points all season long in a standard league. In a 6 point, it's not even close. So, yeah. Max sends in a question. Says, Dalton Schultz or Hollywood Brown this week? I'm playing Hollywood Brown this week. Thank you very much, Max. Connor Smith says, I traded Kyler, D-Hop, and Hawkinson for Henry and Kelsey. Derrick Henry? Great trade. Awesome. Beautiful. Needed a wide receiver 1. Wait. No. Oh, no. Oh, he needed a wide receiver 1. Oh, my God. I read it wrong. My apologies. For a second there, I'm not kidding, Connor. I was like, oh, no. He traded away Henry. No. Great trade. Awesome. The league wants me to reverse the trade, or else people are threatening to quit. Thoughts? If both sides agree to it and there's no collusionary factors involved here, then it's legal. Then we shouldn't worry about it, because your decision is your decision, and nobody else's opinion on how everything's going to turn out should matter. Because let's say, for example, God forbid, one of these guys get injured, Henry or Kelsey, then you're screwed, right? You just lost that trade. So you really can't, though we have projections for the future, you can't really staple, this is going to happen. So typically in my leagues, as long as both parties are happy and there's no collusion, I accept it. KJ says, Boyd and Pittman, full PPR. I'm playing Pittman this week. Thank you very much, KJ. A couple questions came in. Flex, AJ Brown or Henderson, full PPR. I'm playing Henderson. Listen, if it's a top 15, 16 wide running back, I mean, they're taking priority over a lot of wide receivers, typically. Unless it's one of those top 12 wide receivers, or mainly the top 10 wide receivers. Majority of these top 15 running backs take priority. So it has to be one of the upper tier receivers instead of an A.J. Brown that's at the bottom of my wide receiver 2. So sad about Rodrigo. What happened? Did he go to the injured reserve, Drew? because I know he didn't play well because he was dealing with an injury on Monday night, and obviously got that field goal blocked, missed a PAT, missed a kick. You know, it's brutal. It is brutal, and it is unfortunate, but nonetheless, we'll figure it out. Let's see here. What are we doing? A couple questions came in. Stash Rashad Bateman. Yeah, Chris, I had it in my my waiver wire video this week. If Rashad Bateman's available, I'm willing to stash him. If Michael Gallup's available, I'm willing to stash him. If you play in a smaller league with less teams and Jerry Jeudy's available, I'd put him in my IR slot. So yeah, for sure. Flex Khalil Herbert or AJ Brown. At that point, I'm probably thinking if it's a bottom end RB2 versus a bottom end wide receiver 2, I'd probably go with the wide receiver there. PPR, need upside. Play post Evans, let down. Okay, cool. I'm 5-0 and can risk it. Marvin Jones or Kadarius Toney? Kadarius Toney. Yeah, that's my suggestion there. Marvin Jones has not looked the same as of late. And sorry to break it to those of you who have him. He looked good early, but we're starting to get down a path that's kind of tricky. And though he can at any moment catch 2 touchdowns and 90 yards, it is a Toney week in my opinion. Derek Just sends in a question. Thank you very much. Says full PPR. Traded Waddle and Miles Sanders for Josh Jacobs, and my RBs are now Kamara, Hunt, Fournette, Pollard, and Jacobs. Great. Awesome. That's a W. Massive W. Congratulations, Derek. That's awesome. If I could pull that in my league, man, I would win every league. But people don't like to trade with Andrew because, of course, they know that I'm up to something, kind of mischievous in those kind of trades. It's not even mischievous. I don't even have bad intentions. I just go, hey, I'm interested in trading for DeAndre Swift. You want to trade him? Well, Andrew, if you think he's going to be good, then I probably shouldn't be trading him. It's like, damn it, dude. Come on. Joseph says, let's go Dodgers. Let's ride, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, man. I was going to say, dude, if we lost this game with all the money we spend on our team, sheesh, that's going to be it's going to hurt. But, hey, listen. The Dodgers, they've been great for the last couple of years. I'm satisfied with what they've done. Obviously, that Astros series, very questionable, but either way. Here we go. Jude Chavez says, traded Hunt, Patterson, and Pittman for Eckler and Miles Sanders. Okay. I'm okay with this. I think Eckler, rest of season, better than Hunt. As for Patterson and Pittman for Miles Sanders, I guess the Pittman can fill in for this Hunt versus... So, technically, I think it's fair, but Miles Sanders has got to produce. Otherwise, you're in a little bit of trouble because Patterson's just... he's killing it as of late. So, yeah. Cristiano says, bullshit call on the strike. Wasn't a strike. To be honest, I didn't even watch the bottom of the ninth. I literally was streaming, so I don't even know what you're talking about. No, WTF, why are you a Dodgers fan? What do you mean, why am I a Dodgers fan? LA born and raised. What do you mean, why am I a Dodgers fan? Hello? Dodgers, Lakers, Rams, Chargers? What are we talking about? LA born and raised here. Let's go. Toney or Higgins? Depends what the scoring format is. If you're in a half, I'm okay with going Higgins. Buy low on Michael Thomas or lost cause? Why would it be a lost cause there, Omed? I feel like it's a great buy. Why not? By the time, if you buy him now, right, he'll be coming off his bye week, so he won't have a bye week. You'll just have him for the rest of the season, clear as day. And as long as he's healthy, he's that number one on that team, and I'm sure he's going to get a good amount of targets because that offense is just predicated on feeding him the ball. Me neither. I was watching Lakers preseason. You're watching Lakers preseason? Really? Oh, God. I don't know about that. Jeez. Oh, man. The Lakers got the oldest team. They got the 2011 All-Star team as their starting roster, so we'll see how that goes this year. But, I'm hoping for the best. Let's see here. Nick sent in a question. Said, traded away Mark Andrews for A.J. Brown. I already have Hawkinson to replace Andrews. Was this a good rest of season? Was this good for the rest of the year? Only time will tell. It's hard to say right now because, yes, you do have a good replacement for Andrews, but Hawkinson's got to be on. Like, he's got to figure out what he's doing. Like, that knee injury's got to disappear soon. Otherwise, we're getting 3-5 point, Hawkinson for the next couple weeks, and that is probably not something that you want, especially considering you just traded one of the best tight ends in fantasy right now. And Though you may be thinking, well, Andrew, Mark Andrews just had one good week. I don't know if that's really just the case. He was ramping for something like this. Like, let me see here. Am I crazy to think like in the last couple weeks, 5 catches, 57. I understand no touchdown, but it's okay. 5 catches. 5 catches, 109. Great. 5 catches, 67. It was ramping, and then now finally that explosion of a game with 2 touchdowns. The touchdowns are going to get there. I'm hoping that it works out for you because A.J. Brown is a great player and should be a top 12 wide receiver rest of the way. So, fingers crossed, okay? Dave Jones TV says, 10-team league. I have Christian McCaffrey, Taylor, Mixon, Henderson. I put the H in front of Hickson, doesn't matter. Mixon, Henderson, Deontay Johnson, Claypool, okay? Marquise Brown, Devontae Smith. Would you trade Henderson for Jamar Chase rest of season? Do you need the wide receiver help? I don't mind it there, but do I want to trade Henderson? I probably don't. Damn. Mainly because I look at Henderson and I'm like, dude, the guy has 16 plus points a week. I understand that Jamar Chase has got that potential and has obviously shown it. Do you need the wide receiver help? Not technically, because Deontay, Claypool, and Marquise Brown should be starters rest of the way. If you want to make the trade, you can. I don't mind it, but I think I'd rather have the RB depth right now. Braden Hanna says full PPR. We have Pitts or Gibson for Kelsey. Pitts and Gibson for Kelsey, excuse me. My running backs are Zeke, Christian McCaffrey, Chuba Hubbard. And we have Mitchell and Javonte Williams. How do you feel about this trade? Okay, so Chuba Hubbard and Christian McCaffrey are the same back, okay? So Zeke, Carolina running back, Elijah, and Javonte. So you don't have a flex running back. So if you trade away Gibson, your flex is damaged permanently because I don't trust Mitchell and Javonte for a little while. And then we follow it up with improving the tight end position. I don't know who your Pitts to Kelsey. I think you should hold. I think it's a good idea to have Gibson at your flex with Zeke and Christian McCaffrey and then just have Pitts because I think Pitt's on the up and up. So I think I'm holding there. Boxo Cards Production says PPR league, Renfro, Kadarius, Carson at the flex. I don't think Carson's playing, so I'm going Kadarius there. Your second question, B, is Darrell Williams, Herbert, Moss, Myers in the flex. I'm going Moss in that scenario. Moss, Darrell Williams, Khalil Herbert, Myers. Thank you. Corey Sickler, excuse me. I have Zeke, Montgomery. I have Zeke and Montgomery traded Tyler Boyd for Sanders to fill in for Montgomery going forward. Was it a good trade? I believe it's a great trade, 100%. Marcus Crosby in the chat was saying Schultz or Higbee this week. If you check out my video that I posted today, tight end and quarterback rankings, I got them all combined. That would kind of give you a little bit of understanding. I'll just spoil it for you either way, but please check that out. Click the like button on that. I would really appreciate that. I would go for Schultz this week. Thank you. Let's see here. It says, Andrew, out of the players, which are must starts this week? Kareem Hunt, what? I don't understand. Kareem Hunt, Hubbard, Khalil Mack, what? Odell and Renfro? Okay, I'm not understanding the question. There's a lot of punctuation that's kind of just weird here. So, which are must starts this week? I'm playing Kareem Hunt and I'm playing Hubbard. And I'm sitting Mack, Khalil Herbert, and Odell Beckham and Renfro. Francisco says, you look like Milwaukee Brewers fan. Effing hate the Dodgers. I don't know. This might me break up, Andrew. Yeah. Listen, I understand. If you want to dislike what I like, that's perfectly fine. But, it shouldn't change your thoughts on me. If being a Dodgers fan defines you as a human, then I think we care a little bit too much about baseball in that scenario, right? Because I don't think it defines a person as a human, So, let's separate the two a little bit there, huh? Colin Robinson, no. Colin Roberts says Pittman or Shepard. I would play Pittman there. Thank you. Michael Reeves says 2 quarterbacks, 8-team Superflex league with no tight end slot. Okay. We have Josh Allen and Cousins and Carr and Heineke. Okay, we got great quarterbacks. Jonathan Taylor, Chubb, Henderson, Montgomery, Moss. Great running backs. Hill, Diggs, A.J. Brown, Lockett, Boyd, Renfro. Matt Gay is my kicker. Should I make any moves? I'm 5-0. How do you make moves to improve this team? Like, in reality, honestly, how do you make moves to improve this team? Your quarterback position, if you want to trade two of those guys to improve your quarterback too, by all means, go for it. I think that's, if someone wants to take Heineke and Cousins and they want to give you an improved position there, they want to give you Aaron Rodgers, great. But I don't know if that's really going to happen. Your running back position, you got a lot of depth until Montgomery comes back. Your receivers are Hill and Diggs. Those are two of the top 4 from this offseason. So, yeah, I think you're in a good spot right now. And considering you don't have any tight end slots, you don't really got to worry about tight ends, so you're good. Danny says, Raiders offense been regressing. Hard fade them rest of season. Yeah, Danny, to be honest, this is how the Raiders have been every season. They start off strong, they show some promise, and then they rip our hearts out. And unfortunately, that may be the case, but luckily, even with them potentially kind of sliding and regressing in the next couple weeks, I still have a lot of hope for Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller because it's still an NFL team. They're still going to go out. They're still going to compete. They're still going to win games. But either way, they're going to have a little bit of a slide. They've obviously been sliding the last 2 weeks based on their performances, of course. Jay Meyer says Mike Williams for Zach Moss and Ridley, or Mike Williams for Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor for Jefferson and Eckler. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'll take that. I don't mind that. If you're going to give me Jefferson and Eckler, I don't mind that for Taylor and Mike Williams. I think it's relatively even, to be honest. It's a full PPR league. If it is, it's even more of a reason to do it. Julio Jones or Jacoby Myers? Marcus Crosby. That is a good question. I think I'm going Myers there. I think I got to wait and see what the heck Julio's doing, man, because he's still dealing with an injury. It's kind of tough. Pollard or Alex Collins? I think I've just changed my rankings to have Pollard ahead of him. Let me check real quick. Pollard and a half PPR. Where art thou? Pollard is ahead of Alex Collins right now. Traded. Okay, so it says, what's up, Andrew? Irrelevant me. What's up? How you doing? Welcome. Zane Jones says, Gibson and McLaurin at the flex? No PPR. I don't like that. They're both on the same team. Oh, man, that hurts. Listen, when it's no PPR and you got to get that touchdown, I feel like we just got to go Gibson in that scenario. Eric Sandoval says, Pittman or Jacobs, thoughts? It depends what the scoring format is, because if we're talking full PPR, I think I could lean in the direction of Pittman, but even then, I mean, Jacobs has caught 9 passes in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, he might not be getting as many yards as we'd like, but those points per reception and the amount of routes that he's running and getting targeted on, they lead me towards Jacobs. Let's see here. Okay, cool. So John says, traded Devontae, Damian Williams, and Pollard for Swift and Mixon. Wow, that is okay. I'm 1-4 with Josh Allen, Diggs stack, Deontay, and Hawkinson. Win or loss. To be honest, you needed to change stuff up, and getting these 2 stud running backs, in my opinion, is a great deal for you. Pollard and Damian Williams, I could care less. It's really just a Devontae Adams for Swift and Mixon trade, and I'll take Swift and Mixon in that scenario any day of the week. So, yeah, great trade. Xavier says, is Corey Davis droppable? I mean, if you really need wide receiver depth, I don't think he's droppable, but I get he's on a bye week. Maybe you need some help. I got better wide receivers. I'm looking to handcuff RB like Carlos Hyde, Kenyon Drake, or JD McKissic. Listen, I'm never going to slight anyone or say that you shouldn't be getting insurance. You definitely should be getting insurance on a running back. I think you should. But with that said, as of this current moment in time, you're probably in a spot where you don't need to move him. Carlos Hyde for James Robinson, don't think you need it. John Butterballs says, Heineke, Darnold, Carr, rest of season. Rest of season should be Darnold. So yeah, it should be Darnold. I mean, he looked good so far. If he keeps sliding into the Jets, Darnold, then it'll probably rotate back into either Carr or Heineke. But right now, Darnold. Alejandro sends in a question, says, Antonio Brown value rest of season, question mark. What happens when Gronk comes back? Would you trade Darrell Williams and Antonio Brown for Darrell Henderson? If you need running back, I don't think you should be giving out both Darrell Williams and Antonio Gibson. You could probably do it Antonio Brown, excuse me. I think you could just do it straight up. As for his value rest of the season, the projection earlier this offseason when I talked about him being like low-key really good draft pick in the 7th, 8th round was that if he had maintained his entire the second half of the season for the Falcons, right? Weeks, I think it was like 11 through 17, something like that, 10 through 17 when he played with them last year. If he had just played a full season with those stats, if he just broke it out throughout a full season, just projection-wise, he would have scored, over 1,000 rushing yards, gotten himself, a great overall season. And he probably ends up doing it this year. And the amount of touchdowns he's getting, even when Gronk returns, like, I understand the touchdowns, especially down in the red zone, could end up disappearing. But ultimately, it's just a matter of, are you giving up too much for this trade that you're proposing? Because yes, Darrell Henderson is big, but I think you might be giving up too much with Williams and Antonio Brown, considering we don't know how long CH is really out for. Let's see here. Brett sent in a question. Let's see. Or you sent in a donation, but there was no question attached to it, Brett. It says, trade A.J. Brown for Miles Sanders. Gainwell, an issue? ? I don't want Sanders for A.J. Brown. I'd keep A.J. Brown. Thank you very much, Brett. Is Gainwell an issue? At times, yeah, he is. He's a big issue because if he's stealing, red zone touchdowns, if he's stealing PPR work, that is something that kills a running back's overall value. Like, really does. So for now, let's keep A.J. Brown. JK says, start 2 this week. Henderson, Gaskin, Cook, or Gibson. Okay. Thanks for all the hard work you put in, brother. No problem. So, at this current position, in which you have Henderson, Gaskin, and Cook, and Gibson, I expect Cook to play. I expect Henderson and Gibson to be great plays. So those are the 3 that I'm rolling with. JK, thank you very much. Connor Smith says, to add to the question I had earlier about Kyler, D-Hop, Hawkinson for Kelsey and Henry, they want to give up Commissioner because I have Christian McCaffrey. They want me to give up Commissioner because I have Christian McCaffrey and I traded Swift and Michael Thomas for Dalvin. Now I have four first rounders. I don't understand, Connor. Are the people in your league just salty? Like, what is it? Like, if you're making trades that other people are happy with and they're not collusionary, like, look, in my opinion, right? If I'm in that league and someone's trying to give Swift and Michael Thomas for Dalvin Cook, I don't like it. Not one bit. I think that's a BS trade. Through and through, you should not be giving away Dalvin Cook for Swift and Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is hurt. So you're really just giving Swift for Dalvin Cook straight up. I don't like that, personally. But with that said, if both parties like it, you got to roll with it because you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what their strategy is. We can't assume things like that. So for now, you're in the right because as long as it's not collusion, you're fine. Do you think Godwin will do better? The hope is that he would do better. I mean, listen, with so many receiving options, today was mainly an O.J. Howard and Leonard Fournette day. They had their days. O.J. Howard, the last time we saw O.J. Howard have a great week was with Ryan Fitzpatrick in 2018, 19? I don't even know when it was. So that's the last time I saw a good O.J. Howard. I think it was 2018. So congratulations, he had a great day today. As for, Godwin and Evans, they suffered because, the running game took over. And Fournette, like we anticipated, had a monster game and 2 touchdowns, which obviously will do some damage to the overall value of these receivers. But it's just the nature of the beast. When you have so many receiving options here, you're hoping that the baseline values will kind of get them to where they are. But I'm hoping that Godwin will be better going forward. A couple questions came through here. One from Brett says, should I trade Christian McCaffrey for... It says, what should I trade Christian McCaffrey for? I have Terry, Keenan, Debo, and Judy. Heineke at quarterback, Clyde Edwards-Helaire / Darrell Williams, and Patterson as my running backs. Should you trade Christian McCaffrey, and what should it be for? Unless you're trading Christian McCaffrey for Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Ezekiel Elliott, Austin Eckler, I don't want to trade him. That's it. That's what you should get in return. Unless someone's going to give you a better quarterback and 2 stud running backs, that's the only thing I need to clear someone out of their studs. Christian McCaffrey is a league winner, especially in the wrong hands. Your league could just be over in a singular, the rest of the season could just be a wash because he's putting up 25 plus points a week. So, and in one position, he counts at times for 2 running backs. That's why he's the first pick. So For now, I'm not looking to move him, but if you need to, you got to get an overhaul at quarterback, running back, and try to get a lot of running back in that case because CEH is out for a while too, you know. Black Market says two leagues, team 1, flex, Waddle, Murray, Collins, if Carson is out, or St. Brown. Waddle, Murray, Latavius, Collins, Alex Collins, okay, or St. Brown. For now, I'll probably say, okay, Jared Goff did come out and say, I want to get, Amon-Ra St. Brown more involved. Whenever a quarterback comes out and says these things about a wide receiver, I'm inclined to listen. So I like Amon-Ra in this scenario, assuming it's a full PPR. As for your other option, and by the way, if it's not a full PPR, I think the safest play there in that case would then just be Murray against the Los Angeles Chargers. Team 2, flex, St. Brown, Mooney, Hines, Shepard, AJ Green, or Murray. Again, same context. If it's a half PPR, you just go with the safer play of Murray. Otherwise, you just roll with the St. Brown in a full. Rick says Damian Harris or Alex Collins. Damian Harris or Alex Collins. Damian Harris. Assuming he's healthy, of course. And Fant or Patrick. I need a flex and an RB2, full PPR. Fant or Patrick, I'd probably go with Tim Patrick there. Thank you. Faintsky says, Ayo, thoughts. I traded Hurts and Edmonds for Kittle, Thielen. My team, okay, your team is now Kyler, Hill, Thielen, Najee, James Robinson, Woods, Gesicki, Darrell Williams, Elijah Mitchell, Landry, Corey Davis, Ayuk, and Kittle. I don't mind that trade. I'm worried that Hurts might be better than Kyler the rest of the season based on what we're seeing every single week here. So for now, yeah, I don't mind it because I think it's a huge upgrade. Let's just hope that Kyler, gets back to being Kyler. Fainsky says thoughts on a way to improve this team. Oh man, I mean at this point, you got a top tier quarterback. You have Hill and Thielen. I mean, you just upgraded at wide receiver too, which is great. Your running backs are studs. You got Woods and Darrell Williams, Mitchell. The way to improve, I think, from here is probably, I mean, I don't know how you technically improve unless you want to move Darrell Williams to the team that has Clyde Edwards and try to get somebody back that's more of a permanent option because eventually Darrell Williams will be gone out of the lineup once, CEH returns. So, yeah, that's the only other way that I'd say potentially improving there. Derek Just says, full PPR, 10-team league. Quarterbacks are Josh Allen and Sam Darnold. My running backs are Kamara, Fournette, Jacobs, Hunt, Pollard. Wide receivers are DeAndre Hopkins and Amari Cooper. My God, your team is stacked. Cole Beasley, Renfro, Shepard, Goddard, and Ertz at tight end. Got Sam Darnold for Allen's bye. So is this in reference to an earlier question? I got to actually scroll to see. Or okay, never mind. It's not for an earlier question. No, good looking team, man. Overall, good looking team. Connor Smith, thanks for the response. I'm sending this to the league. Okay. Sounds good. Screen cap that. Let's see here. Travis Baxter, number 2, says Sutton or AJ Brown this week in the flex. Sutton. By the way, love the videos. You're the GOAT. I appreciate that. All right. Let me hop into this chat here. What do we got here? Nikhil says, what is Amari Cooper's value? I want to trade for a better wide receiver. My other wide receivers are AB and Deontay Johnson. What is his value? Unfortunately, it's pretty low right now. He has scored touchdowns in each of the last 2 games, which is very good. So probably try to go and sell him as a mid-range wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 2, and try to get somebody better. Who is technically better? I mean, there's a lot of guys that are better. But can you get them? That's the question. Can you go and steal a Ridley? Can you go and steal, I'd even be willing to swap him with CeeDee Lamb. Can you go steal, Stephon Diggs? That's the questions. Somebody's asking a question about Fournette. It just caught my eye. I just don't know where it went now. Here it is. Rylan says, what did you think about Fournette tonight and rest of season? I mean, look, guys, I've been talking about Fournette as a top 16 running back for the last 2 weeks. My thoughts didn't change. If you go back to Tuesday's video about Fournette tonight, I literally said, whoever the starting running back is of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is probably a top 16 back rest of season because that's where Ronald Jones finished, and he didn't even play the full season as a starting back. If I'm not mistaken, let me check this out. 2020 regular season, half PPR scoring format, running back position. Ronald Jones last season finished as the RB number 16, okay, with 7 touchdowns, 978 rushing yards, 1 receiving, with 172 points, okay? Theoretically, 172 points. If we go to the 2021 season here, and through the first however many games we are, 6, Leonard Fournette already has himself 500 total all-purpose yards and 3 touchdowns. He's averaging 4 yards per carry. I mean, the receiving work, I mean, he has as many receptions, obviously because Patterson is going to have a bye week now, but still, when you think about Leonard Fournette has 25 receptions, Patterson has 25 receptions, Eckler has 23 receptions. Najee Harris, of course, is going to lead the pack, but the amount of receptions he gets, I mean, again, he's an RB2 solid because that's just what this offense is going to produce. Connor Smith said, okay, cool. Yeah, all right. Coming back to this chat. Let me see here. Boom. Hey, if you guys could, takes a couple seconds. Just click the like button down below. Also, if you guys haven't checked it out already, Underdog Fantasy, if you go down to the description of the video, check out the link. Use promo code Andrew. With your first deposit of $10 or more, you go ahead and get an additional $10 of bonus cash. You can go ahead and make some pick'ems, join in some of the contests, whether it's the Sunday ones, Thursday, Monday, the pick'ems throughout the week, rest of season stuff. You can even play against, the bigger leagues in which it's like rest of season, best ball. It doesn't even have to be fantasy football either. There's baseball, there's soccer, there's basketball. Of course, basketball is just around the corner. For those of you who are interested, thank you very much. Ivan Ramirez sends in a question. Sorry, before I get to Ivan, actually, let's get to his and we'll go to Danny next. Sorry, Danny, I got to skip over you real quick. Ivan says, start Brady, Herbert, Harris, Kupp, Johnson, Cook. Wow. Godwin, Crosby, Bills, bench is Tannehill, McCaffrey, Mixon. Why is Mixon on the bench? Okay. Patrick, Samuel, Hawkinson. Am I okay for week 6 and season? So this is a super flex league. That's why you're saying Brady and Herbert? Or is that Khalil Herbert? Because Khalil Herbert should not be playing over Mixon. So I'm going to assume it's not a super flex because I think you would have mentioned that. So we're going to say Mixon for sure over Khalil Herbert. That's my only change that I would make there. You're playing Jared Cook over Hawkinson. If Hawkinson's not healthy, excuse me, I'm okay with that. All right, so going back to Danny's question, is Tony a league winner? Looks like 20 points is his floor. No. Take it easy, Danny. I think you've drinking too much of the Kadarius Tony Kool-Aid. It might taste good, but I can assure you it's not a 20-point floor. Listen, is it possible that he's the next coming of the rookie wide receivers and he becomes the best rookie wide receiver? Sure, but I can assure you he's no Jamar Chase. He's no Justin Jefferson of last year or even Claypool of last year. He's going to need a lot of upside and a lot of targets, especially when those receivers come back. Shepard, Slayton, Golladay, Barkley, Ingram. He's going to need a lot of touchdowns to be in that 20-point floor. I mean, come on. It's possible, but it's really unlikely, especially for rookies. Chase sends in a question. Full PPR. Should I trade Christian McCaffrey for Mixon and Henderson? Do you need running back that badly? Because to be honest, totally just pure honesty, I think Christian McCaffrey on certain weeks will outscore both of them combined. I really do. My other running backs are Damian Williams, Chuba Hubbard, Damian Harris, and Darrell Williams. So you have part-time running backs because Damian Williams will eventually disappear. Darrell Williams will eventually disappear. Chuba Hubbard is pretty much almost already out the door, maybe a couple more weeks here. And Damian Harris is pretty much your only other solidified running back. Considering you need the depth, I'm not even, no. If you really need it, you're like, okay, yes. You say you're 1-4. Oh, man. I mean, like, what's the chances that this trade's available on the table next week? Because really, I don't want to give McCaffrey, but you might have to. Honestly, you might have to. Darrell Henderson or Lenny rest of season, I think they're pretty close. But if we're talking about a full PPR league, I'm going Lenny because the receiving work is just far more, potent in that scenario. Zach Zamora says, my Zamora. Anyway, help upgrade. 12 team, 1 point per reception. My quarterback is Rodgers. Running back is Harris. Okay, Najee Harris. Chubb, Fournette. Jamal Williams, great. Or is that Javonte Williams? I don't know. Again, another abbreviation. Mitchell, Murray, Wide receivers are Adams, Lockett, Crowder, Bateman. Okay, you need to upgrade your wide receivers because Lockett and Crowder and Bateman and Gallup aren't going to be able to cut it. You have Gesicki and you have Kittle. So here's my suggestion. You need to probably go ahead and you got to get a better wide receiver too. How do you do that? I think it's relatively in the realm of you got to get Lockett. Maybe you take Gesicki once Kittle comes back and then you swap those two for another receiver, or you grab one of these running backs. Not the three that you're main. I'm not trading Fournette, Chubb, or Harris. I'm not doing it. You'd have to maybe get Elijah Mitchell off a good week, take him with Lockett, and then try to flip him for an upside wide receiver too. Who is a sleeper quarterback? What are we talking the context of? This week, rest of season, the next 4 weeks? Because right now, like sleeper quarterback of the week is probably Taylor Heineke. Do we hold Laviska Shenault for one more week? If he doesn't put up numbers, we drop him? Yeah, I think we're at that point. Because you can't start him. Because, I know the matchup could be nice. But what has he done? He just hasn't done anything as of late. So, yep. Cowboy Panda says, PPR, start Myers or Devontae Booker. Start Myers or Devontae Booker. In a PPR, you're probably going Myers there. Trade AB for AJ Brown? Probably not yet, no. Let's just see what Ryan Tannehill is made of before we start moving pieces like that. Andrew, you are as solid as all. You are as solid as all. I think you meant as always, Joe. But I appreciate that. Let me see here. Okay. Damn, these lights just make me sweat. Sutton or Julio this week, says John Apple. Sutton, thank you. Let's see here. Standard, Laviska or Waddle? I don't want to start either of them in a standard, dude. I don't, Bobby. I really don't. I don't know if either of them have the touchdown upside that you're looking for. Hunt's injury. All right, let's see what Hunt's injury is, guys. What are we dealing with here? Okay, I'm scrolling a little bit. I got to find the article real quick. Where is Kareem Hunt in relation here? Maybe I got to look him up. All right, so Kareem Hunt. Let's see here. Kareem Hunt, according to this, wrist/knee did not practice Wednesday and did not participate in Thursday as well. Is it concerning? Yes. If he doesn't play this week, that's unfortunate. But we're just going to have to figure it out. Yeah, that is concerning. I don't really care about the wrist. I care more about that knee. Because, again, he's running back. The wrist, maybe he has a wrist contusion. You wrap that thing up, you're fine. But the knee, if you got some interior damage, you got some problems. Love your content, Andrew. Do you have rest of season rankings? I will have rest of season strength of schedule tomorrow. As for rest of season rankings, I typically try to do that midway through the season. So there's 14 weeks before the fantasy football playoffs. So typically week 7, I like to do rest of season rankings. So halfway through. So next week, probably on a Friday, I'll do rest of season rankings. So yeah, that's probably when I'm kind of anticipating doing that. Thank you for asking. Thoughts on Michael Carter? I don't mind Michael Carter rest of season. It's just thoughts on the Jets. That's the issue. The Jets are not a good football team. And can a running back sustain production in that backfield if they're not, in contest? If they're not able to compete with teams, how do you expect them to run the ball, right? That's my only concern. QB sleeper, I meant who ain't picked up. Well, I don't know who's available in your league. What do you mean? You got to give me some options. And I'm sitting here, I'm reading your question. So you let me know, I'll answer. Abdullah says, what do you think about getting Saquon for Fournette? Is that good? I think yes, it's good. But the question is, can you afford missing Saquon for maybe the next 3 weeks? Because that's the question. That's tough. Let's see here. There's a question. What does it say? Hey, Andrew. I appreciate that, Ronald, but, it is what it is. That's just how live streams work. People are going to spam. It's no problem. I personally don't mind it. Yes, I see the same questions multiple times, But I understand people's, their desire to get their question answered, and that's why I'm here. I'm trying to help. But I appreciate you looking out. No problem. Let's see here. What do we have? Hi, Andrew. Do you think Christian McCaffrey plays this week? Okay, Gerd. I honestly, I don't think so. The fact that he did not practice today leads me to thinking that he's probably not going to be someone that is going to play. So for now, I would say no. I think A.J. Brown will bounce back. I mean, it's hard to think he won't. Look, A.J. Brown throughout his entire career, from 2019 to 2020 with Ryan Tannehill, was an unstoppable monster averaging 15 fantasy points a game. You can't tell me that the offensive coordinator shift is the only reason that this guy is not catching the ball. There's more to it. Obviously, it's been the hamstring injury, and obviously it's been a little bit of Ryan Tannehill trying to adjust his offense. Same with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan didn't look good early, along with his receivers, Pitts and or Ridley, because he was trying to adjust to his respective offense. It happens, and there's a process to it. Either way, I do think he bounces back. Thoughts on Mike Williams so far? Unbelievable player. Now, do we anticipate it? No way. I did not see this coming in no capacity, because since Mike Williams was drafted, he was a first round pick. He was in the he was a top 10 pick. The dude did not look like this in years past, right? And I understand, Phillip Rivers, he had some pretty good years when Mike Williams was there, but Mike Williams' rookie year, injured reserve, bedridden, injury, not good. The second year, if I'm not mistaken, double-digit touchdowns, right? He had a 10-touchdown season. So we knew, okay, Mike Williams can do it, but let me look this up. I don't want to talk out of my, if I'm not saying the right information, but I'm pretty sure in the second year of his career, he had a double-digit touchdown season. Let's see here. Yeah, correct. So 2017, played 10 games. Great, injured reserve. Second year, 10 touchdowns. And then in the last two seasons, 2019 with Phillip Rivers, 15 games, but only got himself 2 touchdowns, but at least got 1,000 receiving yards. So we knew, okay, maybe there's still potential there. Obviously not as much upside, but there's still potential nonetheless. And then he got himself 2020 with Justin Herbert, 48 catches, 5 touchdowns, 756 yards. Literally in 15 games, he had 5 touchdowns. In 5 games this season, he has 6. Did I see this coming? No. I'll never tell you I did. But do I love it? I love every part of it. It's great. Let's see. Hey, Andrew, I'm a new subscriber. Great content. I appreciate that. Are we starting Madison with questionable Cook and probably limited snap count? He practiced in full this week on Wednesday. On Thursday, earlier today. He practiced fully. That's the first time that he's practiced fully since prior to the Arizona Cardinals game where he first sustained that injury. So in my opinion, if he's practicing in full and he once again does that tomorrow, then I think he's a full go. There will be some, utilization of Madison, but it's not going to be in an expanded role to where we have to worry about it. There's always a chance that Madison could steal a touchdown. There's always a possibility. That's fantasy football. But with that being said, I think Madison's a full go, and I'm playing him. So am I playing Madison? No, I'm playing Cook, and I'm leaving Madison as a low-end RB3, maybe even RB4. Danny sends in a question. Fade Williams against Humphrey. Johnson instead. It depends on, if you feel like he can get away with it. Look, Mike Williams last week had 2 touchdowns that were literally him, either wide open or taking the top off the defense, and no one was even within 5 yards of him. Untouched touchdowns, literally. Nobody touched him on those plays. He just went to the house. So, am I fading him against Humphreys? Probably not, because I can't afford to fade him. He's the best wide receiver in fantasy. He's got to be in my lineup, Noel sends in a question. 10-team, full PPR, super flex. I'm 1-4. My quarterbacks are Dak, Darnold, and Heineke, okay? My running backs are J-Rob, Saquon, Darrell Williams, Javonte Williams. Wide receivers are Hill, Godwin, Davis, Knox, and Schultz at tight end. Any trade ideas? In a super flex league, I like your quarterbacks. Dak and Darnold, or specifically this week, Dak and Heineke are fine. J-Rob, Saquon's your issue. So any trade suggestions? Yeah, you probably need to move Saquon, because if you're 1-4 and you don't have a top, you're one of your top 2 running backs, and you're going to potentially lose more weeks ahead, you have to move him. You have to. What you're going for, you got to hope that somebody that, wants to give you somebody good. Like if someone wants to give you Najee Harris, you go take it. If someone wants to give you DeAndre Swift, maybe this is the time that you take it because you need wins now. Because otherwise, you might end up missing on your league. Because typically in a 10-team league, only 6 teams make playoffs. Typically, only 6 teams make playoffs. And if you don't have at least 7, 8 wins, 9 wins maybe, in a 10-team league, you're going to be in trouble. Is it a good option to drop Corey Davis to take Waddle non-PPR? No. In a non-PPR, I don't want Waddle. No, thank you. I would rather have Corey Davis, more yardage upside and more touchdown upside. Wentz, Tannehill, and Heineke. Wentz, Tannehill, or Heineke. I'm going to go with Heineke, Wentz, and then Tannehill, like I said in my video earlier today. Oh, but that's the quarterback you're talking about. Yeah, I just mentioned Heineke. Tyrell? I just did. Either way, you got it. Let's see here. I lost CEH and traded Amari Cooper for Javonte Williams. I think you gave up a little much, but I think you'll be fine. Bro, who going to give Najee or Swift for Barkley? But look, at this point, what are you going to get for Barkley? Probably nothing. Like, you think someone's going to give Henderson? No. Someone's going to give Leonard Fournette after that game? No. But you got to hope. That's the whole thing. Really, that's literally the whole thing. You got to hope that somebody's like, you know what? I'd rather buy the upside. I'm 5-0 and I'm good to go. Because otherwise, you have to sell Saquon for pennies, literally pennies, because you're not getting Antonio Gibson. If your logic is that what? You're not getting Antonio Gibson. You got to trade him for Zach Moss. And are we doing that? No, we're just dying with our team, right? So you got to hope that at least you can maybe throw in Saquon and then throw in another player and get an upgrade, or at least an upper tier running back. You got to hope. Because otherwise, I'm not giving him for pennies. I'm not. Wentz, Tannehill, Heineke. Yeah. Heineke, Wentz, Tannehill. That order. That's what I'm playing this week. And rest of the season, probably. But we'll see. Depends on Tannehill plays. Thoughts on unspecified illness for Lamar plus Hopkins? I don't know about any unspecified illness. I can't speculate because, to be honest, the NFL sometimes says like unspecified illness, quote unquote, when they're just trying to, keep them healthy and watch their snaps, and they don't want them to practice because it's kind of a loophole. So, yeah. No spam here. Mind answering my question, please? Offered Hopkins, Antonio Brown, Edmonds, Higgins. Okay, wait. Offered that many players. They want Chase, Swift, Ridley, Hardman, standard league. Would you make this trade? Okay, Hopkins, Antonio Brown, Edmonds, Higgins. Wow, okay. They want Chase, as in Jamar Chase, Swift, Ridley, and Hardman. I'm trying to weigh it out. No, I keep what you have. Because in reality, when I look at this, I think Ridley and Hopkins, similar value. Chase and Antonio Brown, similar value. But then it comes down to Swift and Edmonds. And I far and away prefer Swift. Yeah. RB1 is cool. Who should I trade my RB to, Aaron Jones or Kareem? Wait, my RB1 is cool. Who should be my RB2? Sorry. Play Aaron Jones. Kareem Hunt's dealing with an injury. Amari Cooper, Jacoby Myers, probably Cooper there. Amari for Julio? Do you really want to go for Julio, man? Literally, I mean, no. I'd rather just have Amari Cooper. I'd rather have Amari Cooper, yeah. Okay. Daniel Hernandez sent in a donation, but there was no message attached to it. So let me see if I could find your message, Daniel. All right. Daniel Hernandez. Right now, 1-4. Kirk Cousins, Eckler, Fournette, Amari Cooper, Antonio Brown, Waller, Edmonds. My bench is Julio, Tannehill, Michael Pittman Jr., Schultz, Tony, Damian Harris. We have, what is this? Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 10-team league. So what's your question? Is it just like how to improve this team, like baseline? Because you're not trading Eckler, you're not trading Fournette, you're not trading Antonio Brown. Cooper can move. You're not really moving Waller, though you do have Schultz, so you could move Schultz. Edmonds at your flex is fine. So really, I think your biggest improvement could probably be made via Amari Cooper. How do you improve that? It's just a matter of somebody willing to give you an upgraded wide receiver 2 for 2 wide receiver 2s, right? Like hey, go give him Michael Pittman and Amari Cooper and try to see if you can get Deontay Johnson. If they're not willing to do that, then you hold and you're fine. Because I really do think you have a lot of depth for this 10-team league. It's just a matter of your guys playing well at the same time. Okay, let me check something here. Mason Mills sends in a question. Says, I have Woods and Lamb and Godwin and Mike Evans. 10-team full PPR. Hard to sit two of those guys every week. What value can I get for them? Okay, in reality, Mike Williams should never sit. And at this point, if you're trying to trade one of them, it's probably trading Woods or Lamb. What value can you get for them? I don't think you can trade for a top 16 set. I mean, in a PPR, if you need an RB, like if you can go get Mixon or Jacobs and give them a Godwin or a Woods or a Lamb or one of those guys and maybe a lesser guy on your bench, maybe a backup tight end or a backup running back, then okay, we can go get an upgrade at RB2. But yeah, you got to keep Mike Williams for now. The rest are kind of expendable per se. L Huffster Games says, should I accept Kareem Hunt trade for Lockett? My other RBs are Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris, and James Robinson. At this point, it's kind of hard to say no. Kareem Hunt's just been so damn good. I know he's dealing with an injury, but if he's healthy and he's playing, I'd much rather have him than Lockett rest of the season. But the thing is, how do you start Kareem Hunt in your lineup? Can you start 4 running backs? Because if you can't, the only reason I would ever make that trade is to take Hunt and then immediately trade him for somebody else and upgrade at wide receiver. So yeah, I would still take it. Cosmo sends in a question. Thank you very much. Says, my hip is starting to cramp. What the? Oh my God, why is my leg cramping? I traded for Kelsey. They threw in Kirk for Fant and Sanders. I have Mahomes. Good trade. I don't understand. Traded for Kelsey. They threw in Kirk for Fant and Sanders. So you gave Fant, Sanders for Kelsey and Kirk? I'm not understanding. I'm not following here. But either way, if you're getting Kelsey and that's the case, that's a good deal. Bearded Skeptic. What's up, dude? Says, should I give away Najee Harris for Justin Jefferson and DeAndre Swift? Both of them? Yes. I'll do that. Justin Jefferson and DeAndre Swift? Give me them both. Yep. Deal. Will Lane says half PPR, 3 and 2. Hunt, Kamara, Cook, JT, Gibby. Okay. What are we talking about? You got a stud roster here. Ridley, Allen, Deontay Higgins, Thomas I on the IR. Would you package Hurts/Gibson for Mahomes and Saquon? Do you have to? I mean, you're in a good spot right now. Technically, who's better rest of season? Of course, I'll take Mahomes and Saquon. So, yeah, I don't mind that at all. I'd actually prefer it. But it's only because, you still have Kamara, Cook, and JT. So, yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah, I like that trade. Do it. You have a lot of depth. You can get away with it very easily because it's smaller league. Andrew 27. Okay, maybe you're talking to somebody else because I don't know what 27 is. Oh yeah, somebody else. Never mind. My fantasy team's so sad this week with bye weeks, dude. I have a team where literally, I got Ridley and Pitts on the same team, and I think I have. Do I have Debo on that same team as well? I either have Debo or I have what's it called, Elijah Mitchell or something like, and then my whole bench is just either injuries, like 2 IR slots, then 2 people that are out, and it's like I don't know, it's just a mess. There's so many teams out there that are just in shambles because of injuries. It's tough. It's just tough. You can't really do anything about it. Ivan says start 2 running back. Okay, cool. We have MC, so that's McCaffrey. We have Najee Harris. We have Mixon. We have Herbert, and it's a standard. If we're starting 2 running backs, McCaffrey's most likely not going to play. So, Ivan, you got to play Mixon and Harris. Thank you. Pukes2X says full PPR, flex, Jacoby, Kadarius, or Alex Collins. I'm playing Kadarius. No, probably play Jacoby. God dang it. Man, I want to play Kadarius Toney. I think Jacoby has a way better matchup, though. So I'm probably just rolling with Jacoby. But damn, I want to play Toney. Week 7 is about to be, dude. I'm telling you, I've been warning y'all in my waiver wire videos. Next week, Chargers, Bills, Vikings, Steelers, Cowboys, Jacksonville Jaguars, all on bye week next week. It is a bye-apocalypse for the ages. I mean, really, everyone's going to be in shambles next week. If you might not even have a team, you might have to punt the week. Be like, you know what? I'm not willing to drop my bench. I lose the week. Done. But hey, some of us can afford that. Some can't. You think Tyreek will play? That is a really good question, Henry. I have no clue. My assumption is that he will, but I'm worried it's going to be limited. And if that's going to be the case, do I want to play him? It's tough. Zane Jones, Saquon for Antonio Brown. If you really need wins now and you can't afford to have Saquon miss 2 more weeks, then, I would say maybe go after a running back. But if you're that desperate that this question needs to be asked, then perhaps it might be worth it. But if you can wait 2 weeks, I'd rather have Saquon. I'll tell you that much. Christian sends in a question. Says, how to improve my team? Full PPR, 10 men. Okay. 4-1. My quarterbacks are Burrow. Okay, cool. My running backs are Najee Harris and Robinson and Javonte Williams and Cordero Patterson. Great. Awesome running back room there. We have Moss as well and James Conner. Holy moly. Got some good players there. Wide receivers are T. Higgins. Okay. Lockett, Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Rondell Moore, Deebo Samuel, Hilton, and Kelsey. All right. In reality, I don't know if you can improve your team. Let me just put it in this context. Your starting wide receivers rest of season should be Jefferson and Deebo Samuel. Far and away, your number 1 and 2. Kelsey should never leave your tight end spot unless he's on a bye. Najee Harris and Robinson should never leave your running back spots. And Burrow's your quarterback for the next foreseeable future. Who do you play in the flex? It's either between something of the case of either playing Lockett if he's in a good matchup, but without Russell Wilson's tough. Otherwise, you're playing Cordero Patterson there. So where do you go next? I think it's probably a good idea to keep your running back depth because once these bye weeks hit, especially next week, because Jacksonville and the Steelers are both on bye week, Christian. So you're going to need Moss and Connor and or Javonte Williams to fill in. So once you get past those bye-apocalypses, I think then you can go ahead and improve. And how you do it is by moving one of those RB2s like Zach Moss. You accompany him with a T. Higgins or a Lockett, and then you move him for probably an upgraded quarterback, honestly, because the rest of the way, you're going to need somebody better than Burrow for more upside. Let's see here. Gamer sends in a question, says Madison, Edmonds, Sanders, Emmanuel, or Schultz in the flex. At this moment, I'm probably going with Emmanuel Sanders and then Chase Edmonds and then Schultz and then Madison because I expect Dalvin Cook to play. Gabriel says, full PPR, willing to trade Darrell Williams, Connor, Dillon, AJ Green, Boyd, Mooney, Fuller. I need an RB2 and a solid flex player. Who should I trade for? Okay, if you need an RB2 and you have these players to potentially trade, try to go get Zach Moss. I think he's like, as of right now, one of the better of the RB2 category. I mean, if you can somehow, some way go get Josh Jacobs, by all means, please do it. But I think Zach Moss is that next guy. I don't think anybody's trading you Cordero Patterson right now. So that's probably the way to go. As to who you're trading, you probably have to give Darrell Williams and maybe even Connor for it. And I don't hate that because Darrell Williams will eventually kind of disappear. And Connor's just a touchdown fiend. So if you can get away with getting a solid running back out of there, that could be rest of season a good play. Not a bad option. Abhishek V, or the 5th, says, Andrew, hey Andrew, traded away Kamara for Cordero Patterson. Thoughts? No, you didn't. Why are you trolling me, man? Don't say those things. Come on. Don't trade. I mean, listen. I know you're trolling. If you're not trolling, I apologize because you have made an ill-advised decision. Because Alvin Kamara is far and away better than Cordero Patterson. Though, through the first 5 weeks of the season, Cordero Patterson has outproduced him. It does not mean that the rest of the way, Alvin Kamara is getting outproduced. Not going to happen. So, unfortunately, a little bit of an ill-advised decision. But nonetheless, I would see if you can maybe get that changed or vetoed. Veto it yourself. Get out of that scenario. But hey, listen, if it's done and it's permanent, best of luck. Let's hope Cordero Patterson finishes at RB1 this year. But yes, like a lot of the people in the chat are saying, you lost big time, dude. It's unfortunate, but ill-advised. Should I sell high on Cordero Patterson? Yes, you should be selling Cordero Patterson, not buying. Unless you're in like, desperate need for instant value now. Is Khalil Herbert a decent RB2 with Damian Williams out? I absolutely believe that that's the case. Tui? I believe that's the case. I have him currently as like the low end RB2. He's my like number 23 overall back right now. I moved him from 36 to 23 because of the Damian Williams absence this week. Someone in my league wants to trade Diggs for Henderson. Would you do that? Are you in a full PPR and do you have RB depth? If that's the case, yes, do it. I gave Edmonds, Kittle, Corey Davis for Andrew and Claypool, Mark Andrews. Cool. I'll take that. I'm okay with that. Anthony, I like that. Abhishek message retracted. Why did you run away? Why'd you retract your message, dude? Listen, did you phrase it wrong? Did you get Kamara? If you got Kamara, then we're in a good spot, but maybe you phrased it wrong. What can we expect from Fournette from here on out? Vu, I think it's pretty plain and simple. I talked about it earlier this week during my RB video. Very easily, Fournette is an RB2, but a high-end one at that. And there's a reason why I had him at where I had him ranked, 16, because that's probably where he's going to finish as RB 16 on the season. With no Rojo impeding on any of Fournette's value, with Fournette having already 25 receptions this season, and of course leading this backfield full, way to go. It's automatic production. Ronald Jones last year finished as RB 16. Leonard Fournette is going to have the full year, have the PPR upside, and the goal line work in a far more potent offense with a healthier offensive line than last year. If Fournette's on the field, Fournette's healthy, number 7 is going to be a top, maybe even, getting into that 13, 14 range running back, assuming other guys may miss time with injuries. It's very possible. Could finish this season as a top 12 guy because of how much time Dalvin Cook and McCaffrey, they should theoretically catch up, but if they continue to miss time, could end up finishing there. Made a huge mistake. Meant I got Kamara. LOL. That's what you meant. That's what I thought. As soon as I saw the message retracted, I thought to myself, there's no way that he made the mistake of both trading away. Yeah, okay, cool. You got Kamara. Congratulations. You're good to go. Awesome. Ivan Ramirez sends in a question, says, start 3 in a standard league. Cup, Deontay Johnson, Godwin, or Deebo Samuel. Godwin already played tonight. And Deebo Samuel's on a bye week, Ivan. So Cup and Deontay are your only 2 options. What? Jaden Brust says, traded Aaron Jones, Boyd, and Thielen for Zeke, A-Rob, and Woods. I'll take that. I'll take that any day of the week. Awesome. I had Zeke ahead of Aaron Jones before the season. It looks like it's going to continue. I had Woods ahead of Thielen before the season. Think that's going to continue. A-Rob, obviously, I had him at a top 12 wide receiver. That hasn't panned out, but I'll take the risk of it against Boyd. Great. Awesome. Andrew Gonzalez, Lockett and Henderson or Mixon. Lockett and Henderson for Mixon for Hopkins and Russ? What? Lockett and Henderson or Mixon. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Okay, for Hopkins and Russ. No. Why do you need Russ? Why do you want Russell Wilson? Why do you want him? No. Keep your guys. Keep your stud running backs. Keep Lockett. If the guy wants... No, absolutely not. Don't do it. Please don't do it, Andrew Gonzalez. As an Andrew to an Andrew, do not make that trade. Sorry, I read it wrong. I'm an idiot. Do you like Darrell Williams and Devontae Booker? I love both of them. Right now, I can tell you right now, as of my updated rankings as of today, Darrell Williams is my RB20 this week, and Devontae Booker is my number 26. Overall, 2 guys that could be great this week for our overall productivity and for weeks to come until, of course, they are removed because of the health of their, starting running backs coming back. All right, just to guys give you a little bit of a heads up. So I started here at about 9:28 to 9:30ish. I'm gonna leave at 11:30. That's my hard cutoff because I gotta work on tomorrow's video, get that all ready. Got to do all those stats for all of you. So for those of you who have been here and asking questions, if I'm not able to answer it, my apologies. We will do another stream Sunday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to try to get you guys all caught up with all that kind of jazz. I will have my updated wide receiver, running back, tight end, quarterback rankings just to have you guys ready to go. And hopefully, if I didn't answer your question specifically by answering some of these other questions that came in, maybe it helped you in your decision making because of what I talked about in a different thing. Again, there's a lot of you and there's a lot of questions and I can't answer everything. My apologies. It is just the way that it's going to have to be. I got to catch up with some of these donations real quick. Ivan says, LOL, meant on weeks they all play. Okay, so you're talking about rest of season. Who's the best options? Kupp, Deontay Johnson, and Deebo Samuel. I'm keeping Godwin out of that conversation, Ivan. All right, Isaac Maximoff, thank you very much. Says, I'm 1-4, 12-team league, full PPR. Should I make any changes? We have Russell Wilson and Darnold at quarterback. Darnold's at quarterback. I would rather play Heineke this week. And Carson Wentz, in fact. Henry and Jacobs and Damian Harris and Moss and Darrell Williams are my running backs. Good running back room. Ridley, Lockett, Devontae Smith, Tony, Judy, Gallup at wide receiver. Wide receiver needs a big upgrade. But of course, when Ridley comes back, you'll have a little bit of depth there. Kittle and Henry as your tight end. So Henry filling in for Kittle is fine. You're good to go. As for your running backs, you're solid. So it's just a matter of getting a better wide receiver too. If you can go ahead and turn Darrell Williams and Lockett into a better wide receiver too, I would do that, and I do it quickly. As to who you're going for, if you can somehow, some way go get Chase Claypool now before the avalanche hits. I know it hit last week, but if you can do it, maybe. But again, it has to do with teams that, like, I throw out names, but guys, in reality, you know your league better than me. You know who wants to trade. You know who is the stingy guy that doesn't want to move unless he's outright winning the trade. You know these guys. You know what team in your league needs running backs. Go to them and ask for a wide receiver. You guys know fantasy football. You listen to content all day. You absorb you absorb the games. You know it. Just go out and look around your league. You guys know better than me. Jake Rankin says, AJ Brown or Jamar Chase this week? Jamar Chase, good to go. Rest of season, I'm going to probably pick Jamar Chase. Not even kidding. He's looked too good right now. He looks too good. And it does hurt my soul to say it, but AJ Brown has a lot to go to catch up. Especially, it's mainly Tannehill that has a lot to go because they're running the ball 30 damn times a game. Let's hear it. Playga TV says, Bernard. Okay, so that's Giovanni Bernard. I mean, who else is Bernard, right? Lockett, Gesicki, 4, Fournette, and Jones. I get Bernard's side. No, absolutely not. You're keeping Fournette and you're keeping Jones. That's Marvin Jones or Aaron Jones. It doesn't matter. Keep the Fournette side. You're good to go. Will Lane says, I traded CD for Ridley. Okay, I like that trade a lot because my wide receivers were Deontay Keenan, CeeDee Lamb, Higgins. So week 7 is going to kill me. I left Ridley and felt like Ridley was fair. Yeah, no, that is a fair trade. I think Ridley's better rest of season than CeeDee Lamb, in fact. I believe that was the case before the season even started. Alex Santos says, can I pick up Tony? I can pick up Tony. Who would you drop? Julio, Higgins, Shepard, or Sutton? I drop Shepard. He's pretty much his replacement anyway in that offense, right? He's filling in that slot role. He's playing that position. So Shepard's pretty much kind of being Wally pipped. Sir sends in a question. Says, how do I improve? Kyler as my quarterback. Zeke, Darrell Williams, AB, McLaurin, Schultz, Sutton, Barkley, Alex Collins, Madison, AJ Brown. Dude, you have the makings of a great team. They've just got to be healthy. If you have a healthy Barkley and AJ Brown in this team, in this roster, you have Murray, Zeke, Saquon, AJ Brown, Antonio Brown, Schultz, and then you have McLaurin in the flex. That's a great team. You just got to be healthy. That's it. That's all it is. Can you wait for them to be healthy? Maybe not. But you got to look around and see if somebody wants to give you a top 10 back for Saquon in exchange. That's what you got to do. Because that's really the only way. Because otherwise, AJ Brown's back right now, and you just got to ride him out there. But again, you're playing probably Schultz, Sutton this week because he does have a safer floor. Let's see here. Clayman says, any changes, good sir? Thank you, good sir. Dak, Chubb, Jacobs, Moss, Madison, Terry McLaurin, Jamar Chase, Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, Corey Davis, Travis Kelce. I'm Okay, let's see here. So in terms of rest of season, Chubb and Jacobs is great. Moss as the RB3 is perfect. We could rotate that very well. As for Madison, great. I mean, you've had him for the last couple of weeks. He's pretty much just a lottery ticket, and you've definitely benefited from that. Terry McLaurin, Jamar Chase, Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, great overall wide receivers. I mean, you have a wide receiver. You have multiple wide receiver ones there with Terry and Jamar. Amari Cooper and Brandon Cooks are probably wide receiver 2s best of season. Corey Davis, wide receiver 2, maybe wide receiver 3 with upside. And then you got Kelsey. So you got a good overall team. How do you improve this team? I mean, it's a matter of if someone wants to really give you a better second running back. Because you can definitely improve from Jacobs. You can go get Swift. You can go get James Robinson. But are they going to give you that unless you really give out a lot? It's going to be tough. You almost have to wait for like Amari Cooper or Brandon Cooks to have another big week and then try to like swindle somebody into taking a 2-for-1 because they need wide receiver. Should Myles Gaskin still be rostered? Yeah, I think he should. But in a 10-team league, Brad, maybe not. Maybe you don't need him. Maybe you've got RB depth. Anybody can answer. Should I trade Antonio Gibson for Diggs? Again, I think I answered that a little bit earlier for somebody else. It just depends if you need RB depth. If you don't, you got 3 solid running backs other than Gibson and you need wide receiver and it's a full PPR, I would do that. I would take Diggs. Let's see here. Dre Day Reviews says, should I start Khalil Herbert or Darrell Williams? Right now I have Darrell Williams ahead of Khalil Herbert in my rankings this week. Darrell Williams, number 20 RB. Khalil Herbert, number 23, updated as of today. Connor Williams or Singletary. Connor Williams or Singletary as my RB2 spot. Is that Javonte Williams? Because if it is, I probably am considering him over Connor. Let's see here. Floridian Kicks sends in says DK or McLaurin this week. PPR. I have Diggs and Cup. I'd play McLaurin. Thank you. Cool. Anyone can answer. PPR. Do I start Chris Carson if healthy? Or Amon St. Brown or Khalil Herbert? I think even if he's healthy, I'm playing Khalil Herbert. Because Pittsburgh matchup's pretty tough. Start CeeDee Lamb or Hollywood Brown? Not sure if you answered. You're probably... Man, I don't know what the Chargers are going to do to Marquise Brown. If you want to be safe, like if you're just like, listen, I want to play my stud receiver, Andrew, you play Marquise Brown and you don't even worry about it. That's it. You're done. Booker, New York Giants over Harris, New England. I think no, I wouldn't do that. But that's under the presumption or the assumption that Damian Harris is healthy this week. But again, that'll all be updated as of Sunday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Kickoff with Kirchhoff. I'll have my top 36 running back and wide receivers for a half PPR scoring format updated. I'll have my top 16 tight ends and quarterbacks up to date. So for those of you who are interested in those specific rankings, we will have that ready to go in those circumstances. Before we finish off today's stream in about 8 minutes here, I do appreciate you guys coming by. If you guys could, hit the like button. Of course, if you guys haven't yet already, check out Underdog Fantasy. Another way to play fantasy football and have fun for the rest of the season, whether your teams are doing well or not. If you go ahead, go down in the description below, click on the link, use promo code Andrew. With your first deposit of $10 or more, you'll be given an additional $10 in bonus cash that you can use today. Thank you very much. Let's see here. What do you think about Waller and Cook for Mike Williams and the Bills defense? Waller and Cook for Mike Williams and the Bills defense? If you can get... Wait, I'm confused. Is this Dalvin Cook? Corey Thompson, let me know. Is that Dalvin Cook? Or are we talking about Brandon Cooks or Jared Cook? Again, we gotta stop abbreviating names, guys. There's a lot of people with the same name. Francisco, is it safe to play Dalvin? Yeah. John, I am, says... Gaskin, Waddle, Schultz, the flex this week? Probably Gaskin. Probably. But I think Schultz, yeah, probably Gaskin. Love the content, my guy. No problem. Thank you very much, Young Sully. Corey Thompson says, yes, sir. Really? Someone's giving you Waller and Dalvin Cook for Mike Williams and the Bills defense? Yeah, you automatically take that. What do you mean? You want Dalvin Cook. He's literally the number 2 running back in fantasy, dude. Come on. Yo, Kirchhoff, start Jacobs or Herbert? Jacobs. Yeah, Tony, take Jacobs. Easy. St. Brown or Tony and a half PPR. I probably still go Kadarius Tony there. Laviska and Saquon for Mixon and Deontay. Good trade for me. If you need if you need it now, like if you can't wait for Saquon to come back because your team's a mess and you need to win games now, then I can understand it. But otherwise, it's tough. But I mean, at least you're recouping some value. You get a good top 12 wide receiver potentially, top 12 running back. I don't mind it at all. But again, that's if you're in really desperate need of a play going forward. He's trading Cook? No, he's not trading Cook. I'm pretty sure I read that right. Hold up. Chris Thompson, what do you think about Waller and Cook for Mike Williams and Bills defense? I'm pretty sure he wouldn't phrase it that way, in that he's getting Dalvin Cook and Waller, right? Because if you're not getting Dalvin Cook and Waller, I don't. What are we doing? Why would I want the Bills defense and Mike Williams? What? Goat Kirchhoff, what do you think about trading Aaron Jones and Gaskin for Henderson and AB? I'm okay with it. I don't mind it. I mean, AB has to really put in a lot of work, but I mean, Henderson has looked great this season. He doesn't have as much upside or potential as Aaron Jones, has finished as a top 5 back in each of the last 2 seasons. So he certainly doesn't have that upside, but at least you'll upgrade your flex maybe with AB. But I don't mind it. Carlos sends in a question, says, any way to improve a 16-man league? That's really difficult. That's almost impossible unless someone is willing to give you players via trade. Okay, we have Wilson/Bridgewater, Deontay, Brandon Cooks, Dalvin Cook, Chase Edmonds, Hawkinson, Pollard, Tony, Jamison Crowder. Okay, so your wide receivers are solid. Dalvin Cook, as long as he's healthy, he's good to go. Chase Edmonds, as long as he's healthy, he's good to go. Tony's good. Hawkinson needs to play better. So Tony's going to be your flex. How do you improve this team? Unless you're going to take Dalvin Cook and give it to someone and he's going to give you a wide receiver and a running back that are both top 12s, that's the only way you improve that team. Otherwise, you're good to go. Thoughts on Javonte this week? Do I play him over Jamal W? Yeah, I'd play him over Jamal Williams. Have you guys not watched my running back video? Just literally go and slide through it. You don't even have to watch it. Just slide through it. Look at the top 36 rankings. Boom, you're good to go. But yes, I would play him above Jamal Williams. Thoughts on T.Y. Hilton coming back? I think he's a good stash. I like him as a stash this year. Is he going to immediately find potential and score a lot? Probably not. But eventually he'll get there. So that's why he's a stash. Let's see here. Got about 4 minutes remaining, guys. Sorry I can't answer all your questions. I'm going to try to rattle through a couple of these. Deontay Johnson or Hollywood Brown at the flex. Other starters are Adams and Diggs. I think I'm playing Deontay there, but Hollywood's just been so damn good. You maybe just have to play him because he's your stud. What do y'all think about trading Josh Allen and Sutton for Joe Burrow and Tyreek Hill? Yeah, I would do that. Give me Tyreek Hill. Should I trade DK Metcalf for Joe Mixon? If you need running back, yeah, I don't mind that, Hunter. Yeah, if you're in need of running back, again, DK probably not going to be the same without Russell. Let's see here. Trade away Christian McCaffrey, Sam Darnold, or trade away Christian McCaffrey and Sam Darnold and DeAndre Hopkins for Lamar, Eckler, and Robert Woods. Who wins? Who wins? The team that has Christian McCaffrey and D-Hop at the end of the day, main. Let's go Dodgers. There we go. How do you expect Michael Thomas? How good do you expect Michael Thomas to be out of the gate weeks 8 and 9? Let's go ahead and look at their schedule really quickly. Saints schedule. I know they have a very soft one coming up here. So week 7, they play against Seattle. Very easy. Play against the Bucks the next week. Then they play against the Falcons and then Tennessee. Those are very soft secondary matchups. I think he's going to be great. That's why I want him on my team. Brad Stringer says, Myers, Thielen, Javonte Williams, flex full PPR. Thielen is my suggestion. The next best, in my opinion, there would be Myers. But yeah, Thielen is the way to go this week. Okay. A couple more questions. Yo, Andrew, very important. I have Claypool, Pittman, Tony, Herbert, Pollard, and Hubbard. I need to drop one because I have Pitts on a bye and need a tight end. Great. It's really easy. We're keeping Claypool. We're keeping Pittman. We're keeping Hubbard. We're keeping Tony. I think you're dropping Herbert or Pollard. If you don't have Zeke on roster, You know what? Scratch it. I think I just drop Herbert because eventually Damian Williams comes back. So I think you have to keep Pollard. You drop Khalil Herbert there. Thank you very much, Omar. Appreciate that. Renfrow or Rondell Moore? The problem with Rondell Moore is that he's super volatile. A lot of receivers are volatile. That's the thing you guys will begin to learn. When you go ahead and you break down every single wide receiver performance within an entire year, you'll notice that a wide receiver, like a really good wide receiver, if they make the top 12 of their position 5 times throughout the 17 weeks, they're a top 12 receiver. That's how volatile the position is. That's just how it is. If you are a top 12 wide, I mean, like tight ends, right? Like Travis Kelce was a top 12 tight end every week except for one. So in reality, when we look at the tight end position, when we look at the running back position, some of these guys are RB1s 10, 12 times, and that's why they're studs. While wide receiver, if Tyreek Hill is a top 12 guy 6 times this year, we are just on fire. Someone was saying Thielen killed them last week. Yeah, it happens, man. That's what Thielen is. That's what wide receiver 2s are. That's why they're wide receiver 2s. Ridley or MT? Sorry, Ridley for MT and Allen Robinson? I'd rather have Ridley. Gaskin or Herbert, PPR? Gaskin. Tight end options are Hunter, Ingram, Hawkinson, Ricky Seals. I would, if Hawkinson's healthy, I'm playing him. If he's not, I play Hunter Henry. 4-1, 10-team league. Herbert, Diggs, Moore, Dalvin, J-Rob, Gaskin, Fultz. Any changes? You're playing J-Rob instead of Gaskin. You're playing Schultz instead of Fant. Sutton ahead of those receivers. I mean, literally, Dorian, you got a great squad. Overall, great squad. Good 4-1, 10-team league standard. As long as you swipe through my videos, literally what I just told you is exactly how I have my rankings. J-Rob ahead of Gaskin, Schultz ahead of Fant, Sutton ahead of Tony and A-Rob, and you're good to go. But, yeah. Glad I could answer that now. Amir A, these are the last couple questions, and then I got to bounce, guys, because it's already past 11:30 on my time. Amir A says, trade away Dalvin Cook for Aaron Jones and Moore. Is that DJ Moore? If that's the case, I don't mind it. But honestly, I don't mind it. Aaron Jones and DJ Moore, I'll take it. Gabriel says, any flyer stashes? Wilson Jr., Deshaun Watson. I'm not interested in Deshaun Watson. It's not going to happen. Jeff Wilson Jr., yes. Rashad Bateman, yes. Jerry Jeudy, if he's available, yes. Gallup, yes. T.Y. Hilton, maybe. Those are the guys. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it a lot for you guys being here, asking questions, being proactive in the community. It's been a fun week. Thursday night was very interesting. It is what it is. We'll see how it all pans out as we get closer to Sunday. Tomorrow, rest of season strength of schedule at every single position, giving you guys more context as to maybe who you should be looking to trade for in the coming weeks. On top of that, Saturday, Hidden Gems. Sunday, morning live stream, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be answering questions, updated rankings. I appreciate it all. Thank you, guys. Haven't checked out Underdog Fantasy, use the promo code Andrew today when you signed up. Thank you very much. Outside of that, we're good to go. Jax wanted to send in a last-second donation, buzzer beater. Jax is the last one, okay? I appreciate it, Mr. Motivational Hub. Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Myles Gaskin, Amari Cooper, Robert Woods, Darren Waller, okay? We have Dawson Knox in the flex. Should I keep Dawson Knox in the flex or put in A.J. Brown, Mike Williams, or Marquise Brown? Wait, I'm sorry. Hold the phone. Why are we playing Amari Cooper or Robert Woods over Mike Williams, A.J. Brown? Sorry. Jack, we're changing the whole lineup. Your starting lineup from here, this is my suggestion. Obviously, you play what you want, okay? But here's my suggestion because, you're doing it. Whatever. Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Mike Williams, Marquise Brown, Waller at tight end, and then at your flex position, you play A.J. Brown, you're good to go. Send it home. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys. Until next time, have a good one. Tomorrow, rest of season strength of schedule. I'm going to probably go to sleep, but because I got a lot of work to do in the morning. But either way, thank you guys, and I'll see you until next time. Peace.